What's up everyone, how are you all? Today we are back with another blazing Naruto story. What if Naruto wins Temari in a bet? If you enjoy then please like, share and do comments. And also check the description to original creator of this beautiful creation. Sasuke entered the halls of the high school he dreaded so much. Not because of something sensible like bad teachers or bad food, but simply because of the fangirls. Really, they were awful. Recently they had gotten creative and began to take his things when he wasn't looking. The current item stolen was his iPod. The only thing that gave him somewhat of an escape from this hell. Damn fangirls, Sasuke grumbled as he walked up to his locker. It was then that he heard a shrill, annoying voice that could only belong to none other than Sakura Haruno. Hopefully she hasn't seen me, he thought, hiding his head further into the locker. Sasuke-kun, she called her as she walked up, trying to push her non-existent breasts up. Go away, Sasuke ordered, really not wanting to deal with her crap today. She was about to say something back, most likely try to ask him on a date, which of course he would not go on, when they heard a loud thump. Sasuke turned and all he saw was a mob of bright blonde hair. Really, that hair color could blind someone. Sakura laughed smugly. Humph, that loser Naruto gets what he deserves. She crossed her arms. Naruto wasn't the most popular of people, but that didn't stop him from attracting unwanted attention. So it wasn't uncommon that he got bullied a lot. What's the matter? I thought we were gonna get beat up? One of the students said mockingly as he shoved Naruto's face into the locker. The other jerked Naruto's book bag away from him and poured its contents out onto the floor while he laughed. Next time, watch who you pick your fights with, the one holding Naruto said before releasing him and walking away with his friend. Naruto-kun, a purple-haired girl called worriedly as she ran over to him, checking to see if he was okay. Naruto looked up and smiled that knucklehead smile he had become famous for. Don't worry Hinata, I'm fine, I'm just glad you're alright, he said as he began to pick his things up. Oh, only thanks to you, she replied nervously. She helped him pick up his things, then bowed politely and quickly ran away. Once she was out of sight, Naruto grabbed his side, wincing as he shakily stood up and limped away, his bangs hiding his newly bruised face. Sasuke, who had watched the whole thing, simply shrugged. Not my problem, he thought. He collected his things while he ignored Sakura's rambling, then walked away, making sure to glare at her before he did. Everyone began pouring into homeroom. Sasuke strode in gracefully, causing all the fangirls to go wild in their seats. He spotted his friends and walked over and sat next to them. Yo, Sasuke, Neji said as he greeted Sasuke. HN, was Sasuke's normal response. Good morning to you Sasuke. Sai politely greeted. Sasuke really didn't like being friends with someone who looked similar to him, but if it got the fangirls off of his back he would do it in a heartbeat. Sai then smiled that creepy ass smile he always smiles. So Sasuke, when are you going to select a girl? They all seem pretty anxious as to what your decision will be. Sasuke scoffed, and then looked away. None of your damn business? At that moment Naruto walked in, grinning like the idiot he so clearly was. He always sat right beside the window. Sometimes Sasuke would glance over and notice Naruto looking out the window in an almost daydreaming state. Except he would always have this sullen look, one that he rarely shows anyone. Sasuke looked at Naruto as he found his seat and looked out the window. He was very tan, it reminded him of summer. He was unbelievably thin, almost unhealthy looking. His eyes were the most brightest he had ever seen, along with his hair. But it suited him. He had 3 whisker scars on both sides of his cheeks that made him almost exotic looking. Basically, he was very feminine. Like I would ever, Sasuke thought, turning away from Naruto. Neji laughed as him and some other guy began throwing things at Naruto. Honestly, it's like no one has anything better to do than to bully the blonde idiot. Sasuke was indifferent to it. It didn't concern him, so why should he care? I bet Sasuke's gay, that's why he doesn't have a girlfriend. One student teased. Sasuke shot him an Uchiha glare and the boy immediately regretted saying anything. Oh please, if anything Sasuke's all. Neji chimed in, taking a break from tormenting Naruto. Keep on Neji, we'll see if you live to see tomorrow. Sasuke threatened. Neji raised an eyebrow. Really now? Okay then, let's make things interesting. You go out with someone, prove that you aren't all. Let's say a week. Me and Sai will choose the lucky lady of course. And why should I agree to that? Sasuke questioned. Because if not, your fangirls just might find out your home phone number, and where you live, and which bedroom is. Okay, Sasuke yelled. Fine, I don't care. Go ahead and choose, he said, annoyed. I just had to pretend to go out with them, he thought, reassuring himself. Neji smirked as he looked around. There were a lot of good candidates that he knew would annoy Sasuke, but one just really did something for his sadistic side. Naruto, Neji said. What? Sasuke asked. Your girlfriend for the week is Naruto, Neji said, then laughed. Oh man, just think. We can get back at that loser and you can win a bet. How good does that sound? I'm not gay, Sasuke said, glaring. And even if I was, I wouldn't go for that loser. Neji smirked, anticipating this. Okay then, who is that girl you hate? Sakura? Maybe she wants to pay you a house visit, Neji teased. Sasuke sighed. Okay. I get it, but I'm doing it on my time, not yours. Neji shook Sasuke's hand as they agreed on the bet. Oh, and when you dump him, let me be there to see his face, Neji said. Whatever, Sasuke said angrily as he sat back in his seat, cursing what he got himself into. Homeroom ended fast, too fast for Sasuke's liking. Now he would have to deal with Neji's teasing and finding some way to approach the idiot blonde. Unfortunately, once the bell rang, Naruto was out of the room in an instant. You better go find your princess, Neji teased. Indeed, Naruto is quite girly, Sai added in. Shut it, both of you, Sasuke yelled, his patience flying out the window. He gathered his books, then stormed out of the classroom with Neji and Sai snickering. Where the hell did he go? Sasuke thought as he looked around. He decided to look for him after first period since he couldn't spot the dobi in the halls. First period usually lasted for an hour and a half, but thankfully after that was lunch and Sasuke was sure he would see Naruto there. Lunchtime _ Sasuke entered the cafeteria, ignoring the stares of his fangirls. Why the hell is he so hard to find? Sasuke thought angrily. Sasuke-kun, Sakura's annoying voice called, waving happily. Oh, I am so out of here, Sasuke thought as he quickly turned around and walked out, leaving a very sad Sakura. Sasuke shoved his hands in his pockets as he walked up the stairs leading to the roof. The roof was one of the places he liked most because it allowed him to escape from the craziness. He didn't have to deal with the fangirls or any of his other problems. He opened the door and his eyes widened. Sitting on the ground was the idiot he had been looking for. Luckily he hadn't noticed Sasuke's presence as he was busy devouring his lunch, which didn't look like much, like it was the first food he had ever seen in a while. Naruto devoured his homemade lunch, which consisted of some leftover ramen. It wasn't much, but it kept him full for a while. He could eat ramen all day if he could. It was like crack to him. And me, haha. He heard the door shut and looked up to see Sasuke walking up to him. He then scoffed. Let me guess, you want to beat me up too? He questioned. Don't feel like it, Sasuke answered with a bored tone. Why are you on the roof? It's off limits, you know. Naruto began eating his noodles again but replied. Because it's away from all that crazy stuff. It's not like I'm gonna jump or anything. Don't talk with your mouth full, Sasuke said as he wiped what came out of Naruto's mouth when he spoke off of his face. Why does it have to be him? He thought with disgust. Ah, Naruto exclaimed as he set his empty bowl down. You're in my homeroom. You sit with those assholes that throw things at me. Took you long enough, Sasuke said as he sat down. You really are slow. Naruto clenched his teeth. You know what, Teme? I'm leaving. Enjoy your stupid lunch. He stormed away and slammed the door as he left. That didn't go as expected, Sasuke thought as he began eating. Sasuke, Neji called out as he kicked open the door. This just keeps getting better, Sasuke thought. We saw your little girlfriend. Neji laughed. He looked pissed. What did you do? He asked. I didn't do anything. It's not my fault he's stupid, Sasuke answered. How about I help you out, huh? I'll set you up so you can look like a hero to him. What do you say? Neji said persuasively. Sasuke shrugged indifferently. Neji smirked. Alright, after school, be on the lookout. Now if you'll excuse me, I gotta go get some volunteers, he said as he got up. Why him? Sasuke asked quickly. Out of everyone, why did you pick him? Neji stopped. After a minute he turned, smirking down at Sasuke. Because he's a loser. He needs to be shown that he doesn't belong here. And what else to do other than humiliating him? He said, then walked away. Sasuke stared after him, debating whether there were some other deep reasons to Neji's plan but decided against it. After finishing his lunch, Sasuke stood and walked back downstairs towards his class. He was anxious as to what Neji had planned, remembering the look Neji had while he spoke of it. Meanwhile, Hinata, Naruto yelled as he ran up to her grinning. Hinata smiled. Naruto-kun, how are you? She asked. Fine, Naruto answered. No one's tried to mess with you, have they? He asked. Hinata shook her head no. What about you? No one's hurt you, have they? She asked worriedly. Naruto chuckled. Nope, I just talked with this one Temari though. His hair looks like a duck's butt, he said then laughed. Oh, you must mean Sasuke. He's very popular, she said. Sasuke, huh? Naruto mumbled to himself then shrugged. Well anyways, I'll meet you after school and we can hang out, kay? Hinata nodded and they went on their separate ways. The rest of the day passed by slowly. Both Naruto and Sasuke wished it was over, but of course it never works out the way you want it to. The bell rung and everyone emptied out of the classrooms like they were on fire. The hallways were soon crowded. Sasuke cursed the world as he searched the hallway for either Neji or Naruto, not knowing what Neji's brilliant plan was. It soon became obvious though when he spotted the blonde walking out and three shady-looking guys following right after the ignorant idiot. Sasuke sighed. Well, here we go, he thought as he walked after them. Naruto skipped happily as he walked to the meeting place Hinata and him agreed on. Oi loser, someone called out from behind him. Naruto stopped and turned around. Me? He asked. No, the person right beside you, of course you. God, you're stupid, the boy said smirking. Naruto recognized one of the guys to be Kabuto, an upperclassman that had a shady representative. The other was a redhead named Sasori. Along with Sasuke, Sasori was also the target of fangirls. And of course the last being Neji. I haven't done anything to you guys, go away, Naruto said. He quickly turned and began walking away when he was grabbed from behind and thrown against a tree. I never said you could go, Kabuto said, holding Naruto against the tree firmly. Naruto began to panic, not liking being in a position where he couldn't get away. Get the hell off, he yelled. Kabuto moved so he was behind Naruto and had his arms pinned behind his back. We just want to have some fun, Naruto, Kabuto whispered into Naruto's ear. Sasori licked his lips as he approached the helpless blonde. You were right, Neji. This one is cute. He began to lift Naruto's shirt when Naruto kicked him rough in the stomach, causing him to fall to his knees. Neji stepped forward and punched Naruto in the stomach as hard as he could. Kabuto let Naruto drop to the ground as he coughed violently. That's enough, Sasuke said, walking up to them. Naruto could barely make out what happened next due to the extreme pain he was in. He was snapped out of his thoughts when a pale hand extended out towards him. He squinted his eyes to make out who was in front of him. Temari? He asked. Dobi, just take my damn hand, Sasuke said. He reached out and clasped Naruto's hand and pulled him up. He was surprisingly light. Too light. Are you alright? He asked. Naruto rubbed the back of his head. Yeah, he said then smiled. I guess you aren't so bad after all, Temari. Is that really what you had to say to someone who just saved your sorry butt? Sasuke asked, loathing his new nickname. Naruto blinked. He couldn't figure out what Sasuke was trying to tell him. Sasuke sighed. That'll do, I guess. He looked Naruto over. Do you want me to walk you home? He offered. Naruto paled. No, he yelled. I'm fine, he said as he panicked. Okay. Calm down. Well, it looks like you're fine, so I guess I'll be going, Sasuke said as he turned. Naruto stared after him then grinned. Thank you, Temari, he called out then turned and ran to the meeting place, eager to tell Hinata of what happened. Sasuke closed his eyes and sighed. Hopeless. Sasuke inhaled deeply to try to calm his nerves before walking into the god-forsaken school. He wanted his iPod back, damn it. Well, might as well get this over with, he thought then opened the doors. Girls gasped and squealed as he walked past them, not even sparing a glance in their direction. Honestly, what is up with girls liking guys who obviously don't give a crap? He stopped at his locker to get his books for homeroom. Something feels weird, he thought then looked around. That's right, it was quite too quiet. Where was the Dobi? He was usually in fights by now. Maybe he's in class, Sasuke thought as he shut his locker and began walking to homeroom. He walked in and looked around. Still no Dobi. Neji brushed past him and sat down at his normal seat, with Sasuke following after. Did you do something to Naruto? Sasuke asked. Neji looked around then shrugged. Nope, at least not yet, he said then snickered as him and some friends began talking about something else. Sasuke rested his chin in his palm and stared over at Naruto's seat. How am I supposed to make the idiot like me if he isn't even here? He thought to himself. It was about the middle of homeroom when the door burst open, revealing a panting Naruto. Everyone in class fell silent and just stared at the boy. His left eye was bruised and it had looked like his lip was cut. God knows whatever else he was hiding under his clothes. Which were orange by the way. One would think he was colorblind wearing that bright orange all the damn time. Sorry I'm late, Naruto said holding up one hand and grinning. It's alright, just take your seat, the teacher said, obviously uneasy but deciding not to say anything like every other teacher choose to do. It seemed like Naruto limped over to his seat but soon enough he was sitting down and looking out the window like he always did. Sasuke looked back at Neji and sighed to see if they knew anything about it but they were both in conversations of their own. Sasuke kept glancing over at Naruto all throughout homeroom until finally it ended. Sasuke stared at Naruto as he watched him leave. He seemed almost pathetic. He'll try to talk to him at lunch, Sasuke thought as he stood and headed for his next class. Class went by slower than normal. At least for Sasuke it did. He couldn't get the idiot off of his mind. He didn't care what happened to him so why was he thinking of the Dobi so much? This is pissing me off. Sasuke thought sighing for probably the 50th time that day. Finally the classes ended and it was time for lunch. Sasuke headed for the roof in hopes of bumping into Naruto and asking about earlier. He had a bet to win and he was not about to let Sakura know where he lived. Luck, it seemed, was on Sasuke's side. There sitting on the roof was Naruto eating ramen yet again. Why were you so late? Sasuke asked as he approached him. Naruto looked up at Sasuke then back down to his food. Why do you care? He asked. Good point. He couldn't exactly say he made a bet that would ultimately end up in humiliating Naruto. Because you're the type of person people worry about. Sasuke recovered smoothly. Well, I don't need people to worry about me. I'm fine. Naruto huffed. Sasuke put his hand under Naruto's chin and lifted it, placing his other hand right beside his bruised eye. And you expect me to believe that when you have this? He inquired. Naruto gasped and quickly smacked Sasuke's hand away. I fell okay. Naruto stuttered nervously. Sasuke sat down and stared at Naruto skeptically. As believable as that is, do you really think I would fall for it? The other day I saw you grab your chest. Those guys didn't hit you there. Is the same person who did all this also responsible for those scars on your cheeks? Naruto grabbed his food and stood. So you saw it and didn't help. Gee thanks asshole. He yelled angrily, thankful for an excuse to leave, and then stormed away, slamming the door behind him. Damn, Sasuke thought as he began to eat his lunch. Why is he so damn hard to talk to? If it was one of my fangirls I wouldn't have this much trouble. Hell, all I would have to do is look at them and it would be on. Why does he have to be different? Sasuke finished his food then lay back, resting his arms behind his head and slowly closed his eyes. Naruto ran down the stairs as fast as he could. He turned when he got back into the hallway and ran for the bathrooms. He quickly locked himself in a stall and fell down, hugging his knees tightly to his chest, panting heavily. That was close, really close, he thought resting his head in his knees. After his breath calmed, Naruto stood and walked out of the stall only to come face to face with Sai. How long were you there? Naruto asked nervously. Sai smiled, which gave Naruto a funny feeling. Not that long, I was just wondering if you would accompany me for a moment. Sure, Naruto said smiling brightly. Poor gullible Naruto. Naruto followed Sai until they got to the drama club room. Sai opened the door for Naruto and waited for him to walk in. The room was dark and Naruto could barely make anything out as he walked in. The door suddenly shut behind him and he was grabbed from both sides. What the hell? Naruto exclaimed. We were just thinking. Naruto recognized Neji immediately. That since you look so much like a girl you might as well dress like one. What do you think? He laughed as he began to strip Naruto of his clothes. He heard another laugh that belonged to Sasori, his apparent right-hand man. Do you creeps have nothing better to do than to mess with me? Naruto yelled angrily as he struggled. Naruto's struggling produced no results. It seemed the more he struggled the funnier it became for the two of them. They were interrupted from their fun when they heard two knocks at the door, signaling that someone was coming. They quickly finished up what they could and burst out of the room laughing. The person was none other than Sasuke. Seriously, his timing was incredible. He half glared at Neji as they passed each other, figuring he had done something stupid again to Naruto. He walked up to the door and looked in. It was completely dark, but he still figured he might as well check. They didn't run that fast away for nothing. He opened the door and walked in. "Dobi?" he asked aloud. He heard shuffling and then noticed a big black blob huddled in the corner. He turned on the lights and saw that it was Naruto, only he covered himself in a blanket and was hiding in the corner. He sighed as he walked up to him. "What did they do now?" he asked, kneeling in front of Naruto. "Gee, go away." Sasuke could barely make out the muffled yell coming from Naruto. "Dobi, I can barely hear you, take this thin." He removed the blanket and stopped mid-sentence, his eyes widening a great amount. There before him was Naruto in probably the shortest black skirt he had ever seen. He had long black stockings that had white stripes at the top. The shirt, or if you can ever call it that, was barely buttoned, but Sasuke could tell it was some type of strapless corset. The colors were orange and black, insert irony, and stopped just above his belly button. All in all, the Dobi didn't look half bad. Naruto's face reddened quite a bit. He jerked the blanket back and covered himself up. Sasuke was half tempted to rip it back off, the key word being half. "Don't worry, Dobi, you look good. I'd say it was an improvement." "Screw off," Naruto said through the blanket. Sasuke smirked, then stood and looked around. "Hold on, I'll get your clothes." He walked around looking for his clothes, or at least something suitable he could wear. Since he couldn't find his clothes, he went to the costume rack and pulled some things off, then walked back. "Here, Dobi, I got you some clothes. They aren't yours, but it'll have to do." He held out the clothes. Naruto gave him no response. "Alright, suit yourself," Sasuke said before jerking the blanket off and pulling Naruto up. "Temari, what the hell?" Naruto said, struggling, but it was playful. "I can dress myself. Stop moving so much, Usura Dankachi." Sasuke managed to pull the corset off of him and put a normal-looking shirt on the boy. "I'm trying to help." He knelt down to unbuckle the skirt, then pulled down the skirt in one try, creating one of the most awkward of moments the two of them will ever share. It wasn't just Naruto's clothes they took, it was also his underwear. Naruto and Sasuke's eyes both widened a considerable amount. Naruto being completely embarrassed that someone was literally right in front of his manhood, not to mention it was a gay. Sasuke being that he was staring at the manhood in question. It wasn't exactly his manhood he was staring at, don't get me wrong, he got a pretty good look at it. But mainly Sasuke observed all the bruises and cuts and scars Naruto had all over, and it was only his legs down that he saw. Who is doing this to him? He thought. Naruto finally covered himself up and scooted away. "I told you I could dress myself," he stuttered. Sasuke stood and tossed Naruto the pants he found. "Alright, but I don't think this room has any underwear you could borrow," he said, then smirked. Naruto made Sasuke wait outside until he got dressed, making sure to call him a pervert before shutting the door and locking it. Humph, this might just be a little bit fun after all, Sasuke thought as he looked at the door. After a few more minutes, Naruto walked out wearing something other than orange for a change, not that he had a choice though. He looked away nervously. Thanks for helping me again, HN, Sasuke replied. "So should I just become your bodyguard, because I swear you are a magnet for trouble?" Naruto grinned and tried to flaunt his non-existent muscle. "I can take them. They just caught me off guard, that's all." "They sure have been catching you off guard a lot then," Sasuke said, then smirked when he saw how flustered Naruto got. "Just stay by me and you'll be fine." "Does this mean we're friends now?" Naruto asked, hopeful. "Sure, Dobi, whatever you want." They began walking down the hall side by side. "So are you going to tell me about the bruises?" he asked. Naruto put his hands behind his head and smiled. "Not a chance." "Oh well, I have my ways," Sasuke said, shoving his hands in his pockets. Time passed by quickly as the boys spent their remaining time talking. It wasn't anything important, just random things. Sasuke found it surprisingly easy to talk to Naruto, even though he was a complete idiot, and Naruto seemed comfortable enough around Sasuke to relax. The final bell rung and the halls were soon crowded. Naruto picked his book bag up, then turned to Sasuke and grinned. Sasuke would have to get used to seeing a smiling face all the time, he wasn't used to it. "Well, thanks again, Temari. I'll see you tomorrow," he exclaimed, then turned and ran before Sasuke could interject. Sasuke sighed. Okay, so it wasn't that bad, he thought as he turned and walked out. At Naruto's house, Naruto stopped before his house, his palms sweating and his heartbeat fierce. He was home. It was never good when he was home. The man, of course, being his foster parent. After Naruto was born, he was abandoned on the doorstep of an orphanage like you see happening in old-time movies. The orphanage was okay but still had its moments. Like sometimes Naruto would see the caretakers doing some sort of drug. And sometimes the kids were called into the rooms where they were probably molested. So needless to say, they weren't strict when it came to who adopted the kids. A serial killer could stroll right in and they wouldn't have cared. Unfortunately for Naruto, he just had to get the most assholish of people as his adoptive parent. He figured the only reason the man had adopted him was so he could have something to beat when he got angry. He would be gone somewhere most of the time, but whenever he would be home, that usually meant another beating. He wanted to speak out and get the asshole arrested, but where would that leave him? Homeless. He wouldn't survive out all alone for that long. And he'd be dead before he returned to that orphanage. At least with the abusive asshole he had a semi-warm place to sleep. He finally worked up the courage and slowly walked into the house. He could hear the man in the living room, cursing at nothing. He quietly tiptoed over to the stairs, making sure not to make any noise. His heart stopped completely when he heard a grunt behind. He slowly turned, his body shaking. "Trying to sneak past your dear old dad, huh?" he asked angrily, then ran at him. "No," Naruto yelled, but was grabbed and slammed down to the ground. "You really hurt my feelings, you know that," the man yelled as he kicked Naruto as hard as he could. I'm sorry, Naruto cried as he curled into a protective ball, trying to lessen the pain. The beating went on for about 10 more minutes until he finally got tired of kicking and hitting an unconscious person. He walked back to the living room and sat down on the couch, eventually falling asleep. Naruto awoke hours later in immense pain. He winced as he sat up and looked around to make sure it was safe to move. He shakily got up and limped up to his room, where he locked the door. He fell down on his bed, hugging the sheets tightly as he cried softly. Sometimes he wished he could talk to someone about this. He wished someone would take him away from all this. Anything would be better than feeling like this. So helpless. As long as he had his friends, he could make it. Well, if you count Sasuke. All he really had was Hinata and Sasuke, but that's all anyone ever needs. Just one person who truly understands them. He felt like maybe with Sasuke he found someone who he could share stories with, laugh with, and cry with. Naruto eventually fell into a deep slumber, dreaming about a lot of things. Even a certain Temari. Naruto stood in front of the school trying to calm his heart from bursting from his chest. Hinata, he could convince, but Sasuke was persistent. Very persistent. "You can do this," Naruto reassured himself before walking in. He turned the corner and spotted the Uchiha at his locker with a certain pink-haired teen talking his head off. He looked pissed, actually way beyond pissed, like he was about to kill the next person who talked to him. Naruto had always thought Sasuke was the typical jock type. You know, who's popular with the girls, perfect grades and such. But there seemed to be something different about him that Naruto couldn't quite put his finger on. He felt like he could really relate to this person. It was a weird feeling, but relieving nonetheless. Naruto hung his head low as he began walking down the hall, praying that the raven wouldn't look up or notice him. He was not ready to deal with all the accusations right now. But of course, Sasuke was looking everywhere but at the pinkette, so of course he noticed Naruto. He walked past Sakura, ignoring her completely, and strode up to the blonde. Naruto quickly turned away, facing his locker and keeping his head low. "Dobi?" Sasuke asked, noticing the weird behavior. "What is it, Temari? I'm in a hurry, you know." Naruto stuttered. Sasuke raised an eyebrow. "What's wrong with you?" He placed his hand on Naruto's arm, causing Naruto to wince in pain. His eyes widened and he quickly spun Naruto around. He felt his heart stop and his anger rise as he stared in disbelief at the boy. Naruto's usual characteristics were hidden behind the bruises, cuts and scrapes all over his thin body. He slammed his hands on either side of Naruto, causing Naruto to back against the lockers with no escape. Sasuke leaned in, looking at Naruto angrily. Who did this? Why? Why was he so angry? He couldn't figure it out. Just seeing Naruto yesterday was hard enough for him, but now this new assortment of injuries was sending him to his boiling point. Whoever doing this to the boy obviously needed to be taught not to touch other people's things. That's right. For about another 5 days, Naruto was his. So he had the right to be pissed, right? It was because of the bet he was feeling this way. Or at least he could keep telling himself that. Cutie. A flamboyant voice called. Sasuke and Naruto turned to see a boy with almost the same features as Naruto approach them, but of course no one could compare to Naruto. Sasuke recognized him as an upperclassman in the same year as Sasori. Sasori and Deidara were often seen making out in the hall, or sometimes they just went to the bathrooms for hours doing you know what. Deidara walked up and stopped in front of them. "Excuse me emo boy, I want to talk to Cutie here," he said as he reached out for Naruto. Sasuke stepped out protectively in front of Naruto. "Talk to him here," he ordered. Deidara glared at Sasuke. "Fine, whatever." He peered behind Sasuke. "You were the one that Sori-chan tried to hurt the other day, weren't you?" "He didn't try, he did," Sasuke interrupted. Naruto scratched his cheek. "Sori-chan?" he asked confused. "Sasori," Sasuke answered, crossing his arms, not finding this amusing at all. "Right, well anyways, I just wanted to apologize." His expression then turned to that of worry. "Sori-chan didn't do that to you too, did he, Naruto, just now remembering that he was a walking injury, looked down. No, don't worry about it," he answered unsurely. "Well, you said what you wanted to, now go." "We were in the middle of something," Sasuke said impatiently. Deidara pursed his lips. "Geez Cutie, you gotta keep your boyfriend under control," he said, causing Naruto to blush a deep red. "Well anyways, I'll see you around Cutie, He winked then skipped away happily. That was weird," Naruto said, scratching the back of his head. "Forget that, you never answered my question. In fact, you haven't answered a single one," Sasuke said, turning his attention back to Naruto, edging closer and closer towards Naruto. Naruto backed up against the lockers. "You're getting awfully close, don't you think?" Naruto stuttered, his eyes averting the piercing gaze of the raven in front of him. "Well, if you won't tell me, I'll just figure it out on my own," Sasuke said, now very determined to find out what was going on. "Dobi," he finished with a teasing tone. The bell rang, signaling the start of homeroom. "Well, looks like it's time for class. We better," Sasuke began to turn around, but Naruto reached out and clutched Sasuke's shirt tightly. Sasuke's eyes widened when he looked back at Naruto. Naruto's cheeks were bright red and he had probably one of the cutest expressions Sasuke had ever seen. He removed his hands quickly and looked down at the ground. Sorry, I didn't mean," Naruto said awkwardly. Sasuke took Naruto's hand and began walking. Naruto watched Sasuke's back as he followed after him. He looked down at their connected hands and his blush deepened. He hadn't meant to reach out and grab his shirt, it was like his hands had a mind of their own. But why didn't Sasuke punch him or anything? Any normal guy would punch them if another guy reached out, clinging to him like some girl. But of course Sasuke wasn't really normal per se. Meanwhile, Sasuke wasn't doing any better with his inner turmoil. He hadn't expected the blonde to have such a cute expression. How was he supposed to prepare for something like that? He wasn't gay, at least as far as he knew. Being in a relationship never really interested him, so he never tried. But it wasn't like he only looked at guys. There were some girls that were attractive to him, but he knew they were only after his looks, so why bother? Why did Naruto cause him so much confusion? Whatever the reason, he didn't like it. They passed by homeroom and Naruto began to panic. Sasuke, homeroom was back there," he said. Sasuke kept walking, not looking back. "I know that, Dobi. We're skipping." Naruto blinked then chuckled. "Wow, the famous Sasuke Uchiha skipping. What's the world coming to?" he joked. Sasuke responded. They snuck out of the school, still hand in hand, and ventured out into the city, which was in walking distance from the school. Teme. Not that I'm complaining, but why'd we skip school?" Naruto asked, looking around at all the glances they were getting from holding hands. "And you can let go of my hand, you know." Sasuke let go, still walking. "No reason. I just didn't feel like going." It was partly the truth. Sitting in class wasn't really something he enjoyed. Naruto just happened to be there. Okay, so his reasoning was weak, but it was all he had. They walked, probably for hours it seemed, until something interrupted their awkward silence. That something was Naruto's stomach. Naruto laughed as he rubbed the back of his head. Hey, you wouldn't happen to have something to eat, would you? Sasuke stopped and turned to Naruto. Nope. He looked around and spotted a restaurant. But I have money, so we can get something to eat, and after that we can get some things to treat those wounds of yours. He walked to the restaurant with Naruto tagging along behind him. In homeroom, Neji sneered angrily as he sat in his seat. It didn't go unnoticed to him that both Sasuke and Naruto were absent. Oh, that loser was going to pay. Back to the restaurant, Sasuke considered himself a somewhat patient person. Hell, he put up with Naruto that was putting up with one of the most hyperactive, knuckle-headed, loud-mouthed, idiotic people he had ever met. But now, he questioned his patience. In front of him sat Naruto, shoving bite after bite in his mouth, but was sending pieces of the food flying everywhere, but mainly on Sasuke's face. Sasuke's eyebrow twitched as he scooted away and wiped the pieces of his face. Usura Tonkachi. Eat. Slower. He ground out angrily. Sorry. It's just been a long time since I've tasted food like this. Naruto exclaimed, then went back to eating. Sasuke could tell that Naruto definitely wasn't lying. All he had seen Naruto ever eat was ramen. Sasuke was interrupted from his thoughts when Naruto asked him a question. Why are you being so nice to me? Naruto had finished eating and was staring at Sasuke. He placed his food in front of Naruto to eat, then rested his chin in his palm. Why does there have to be reason? He asked. Naruto began eating, but not as crazily as before. You don't start randomly being nice to someone for no reason. Damn, Naruto was observant. If I told you, you would probably freak out. Sasuke said lazily. Naruto pursed his lips, pouting cutely. Oh, try me, Teme. I could handle it. Sasuke smirked, then turned and faced Naruto. I like you. Naruto blinked, then grinned. I like you too, Teme. Alright, let me say it more clearly so even you would understand. I want to go out with you. Kiss you. Go on dates. I like you in that way. Naruto dropped the fork on the table and stared at Sasuke with widened eyes. Sasuke had never seen a person turn so red before. It was kind of amusing. Of course this was all for the bet. Why you? What? Naruto asked in complete disbelief. You heard me, Dobi. Do you need me to take you into the bathroom and show you what I'm trying to say? He asked, his smirk growing. Naruto held up his hand. No, that's quite all right. He stared at Sasuke nervously. So, are you going to punch me or what? Sasuke asked. Why would I do that? Naruto asked, confused. Well, a guy telling another guy he likes him isn't exactly normal, Dobi. Unless for you it is. Sasuke half inquired. Naruto scratched the back of his head. Well, it's not weird, how do I put it? I guess I kind of like Sasuke in that way too. I've never really been in a relationship, so I don't really know how it goes, but I know I like talking with you, and spending time with you. Naruto said, all while his face was getting redder. Sasuke on the other hand stared at Naruto as shock. He was only picking with him, well, half picking. He needed to ask the Dobi out sooner or later, and why not test it out? Naruto looked up at Sasuke. But what about you, Teme? Don't you have like an image to keep? Wouldn't it be ruined if it gets around that we're dating? He asked. That's why we're gonna keep it a secret. Sasuke answered. Naruto frowned. Oh, he then forced a smile. Well, okay, I'm fine with that. Sasuke frowned. Had he just hurt the Dobi's feelings? For some reason he felt guilty. He could tell Naruto was not okay with that at all. The boy was a horrible liar. What was Sasuke supposed to do? He did after all have an image to keep up. He wasn't about to throw it all away for some fake relationship, especially a fake relationship with a guy. Let's get going, Sasuke said as he stood. Naruto nodded and stood as well. After Sasuke paid for the lunch, they left and went to a drugstore to get some bandages and ointment for Naruto's wounds. After the purchase, they went to an empty park and sat at the benches. Sasuke first tended to the serious ones that were visible, then he stared at the blonde expectantly. Naruto blinked and stared right back. Dobi, shirt, Sasuke said. Naruto looked at his shirt, then to Sasuke. Oh, you like it? Thanks, he said happily. Sasuke face palmed, then shook his head. Take it off. He reached over and pulled Naruto's shirt off. Ah, Temari, what the hell? Naruto asked, trying to cover himself up. Sasuke grabbed his wrists and pulled them away from his chest. You're not a girl, Dobi, you don't have to cover up. Relax, I'm just getting these wounds too. Naruto relaxed and let Sasuke get back to work. Thanks, he mumbled shyly. Sasuke smirked, then turned his attention back to the bare chest in front of him covered in bruises and whatnot. Putting aside all the bruises and whatnot, Naruto had an okay body. It was muscular but not too much, it was fragile. Actually, there was not one thing about Naruto that was masculine, not counting his manhood of course. Which Sasuke mentally dubbed as Lil Dobi. Ha. Sasuke finished what he could do on his chest, then stared at Naruto again. Naruto, this time, seemed to get what Sasuke was implying. Oh no, I am not taking off my pants. You can forget it, Naruto said stubbornly. Dobi, I've already seen more than I needed to, you don't have to be a girl about it. Sasuke said. No, Naruto said, crossing his arms. Sasuke's eye twitched. Alright then, I asked nicely, you remember that. Sasuke said before pushing Naruto back on top of the picnic table and jerking his pants off in one try. He had skills. Naruto gasped and his face reddened as he tried to escape. Sasuke crawled on top of Naruto, pinning his arms above his head with one of his hands. He rather liked this. Being in control. It was one of his kicks. He stared down at Naruto's flushed face as he found himself inching closer and closer until there was no gap between them. Naruto's eyes widened as he felt a pair of soft lips on his. It was the first time this had happened. What was he supposed to do other than just sit there? Sasuke, on the other hand, had no idea what he was doing. Did he really just do what he thought he did? Had he really just kissed the Dobi? Scratch that, still kissing the Dobi. Why did kissing him feel so right? It wasn't helping much that Naruto wasn't even fighting back. In fact, it worried Sasuke. Would he just lie there and accept it if some random guy came onto him? Sasuke pulled away after a few more seconds and stared down at the blonde as he took in his appearance. His cheeks were flushed, his eyes glistening, and his lips were parted and plump. All in all, he looked seductive. This both worried Sasuke and aggravated him. Who all has seen the Dobi like this? Quit staring, Naruto mumbled, pursing his lips. Sasuke blinked then smiled. Just a little. Sorry, he said before moving off of Naruto. Naruto sat up, staring at his hands nervously. That was my first kiss, you know. You better take responsibility. Sure, Dobi. He held out his hand. I have to be getting home. I'll walk you home though. Naruto took his hand and was pulled up. Sasuke handed him his shirt and he put it on quickly. You don't have to walk me home, he said anxiously. He didn't want Sasuke to meet the asshole, no telling what might happen. Sasuke turned to Naruto, half glaring. Dobi, I'm walking you home. Naruto sighed, defeated. Fine, but you aren't coming in. It's, dirty. Naruto lied, which Sasuke saw through. Fine, I won't come in, yet. He said then smirked. I'll come in eventually, I can promise you that. Sasuke walked beside Naruto as he listened to the boy go on and on about pointless things like how much ramen he could consume at once or make jokes about Sasuke's hair, just random small talk. Sasuke rather enjoyed it per se. They got to Naruto's house. Sasuke raised an eyebrow when he heard Naruto sigh. Thank goodness he isn't here, Naruto thought before turning to Sasuke. Well, I'll see you tomorrow, Temari, he said, then stepped up to Sasuke and kissed his cheek nervously. He pulled away, his cheeks red, then turned and ran into his house. Sasuke watched him disappear, then held his hand up to his cheek. Was he actually falling for the Dobi? This isn't good, he thought, then turned and slowly walked away. Naruto's eyes fluttered open. He lay there for a moment looking up the ceiling. For the first time in a long time he was actually happy waking up. Partly because the asshole wasn't there, but mostly due to Sasuke's influence. Maybe things were finally going to start turning around. There was a part of him that just couldn't believe what was happening. And not in a good way. How was he supposed to believe that Sasuke Uchiha, the most popular, smartest guy at school who never even so much as glanced in Naruto's direction before, suddenly, like him? Nevertheless, it was still a nice feeling to have, being wanted. He sat up from the bed, rubbing his eyes, and then scooted over to the side and began to dress himself for school. Sasuke, on the other hand, woke up completely pissed. Partly because Itachi had bugged him all night about why he was home a little later than usual, but mostly due to Naruto's influence. Things were not going good for him at all. And it was raining too. Sasuke hated the rain. It ruined his hair, ha. He was starting to actually like that idiot, and that wasn't good at all. He didn't want these feelings, and he definitely didn't want to have them for Naruto. Naruto was a loser, to put it bluntly. That's why he never concerned himself with him. Call him conceited all you want, but Sasuke's image meant a lot to him. It wasn't enough that he's had to live in his brother's shadow all his life, but his image gave him something that was his. Did you really expect him to throw away everything he worked so hard to achieve just for some cute dobe? That's right, cute. It was only supposed to be a bet. He wasn't supposed to actually fall for the dobe, but every single minute he was with him he found it harder and harder to contain himself. Was it because he felt bad for the kid? No, that couldn't be it. Sasuke wasn't sympathetic towards people. Whatever it was, he couldn't figure it out. Once the bet was over in 4 days he would dump him, and that would be the last of it. Or so he thought. Naruto burst through the halls of the school, grinning like an idiot. A very happy idiot. Ignoring all the glares of disgust, he walked over to his locker and began getting his books, eager for Sasuke's arrival. Cutie! Deidara exclaimed, running up and hugging him. Naruto blinked, then pat his back awkwardly. Hi? Deidara pulled away. I'm sorry. It's just you looked so cute, I just had to hug you. So how are things with Sasuke, he asked. Good I suppose. He's still a Megateme though, he said, then laughed. Who's a Megateme? Sasuke asked, walking up. Naruto glared over at Sasuke and pointed at Sasuke childishly. You are. HN. Sasuke replied, then turned to Deidara. What are you doing here? Shouldn't you be with your Sasori-chan keeping him out of trouble? Sasuke growled when he thought of Sasori and what he caught him attempting to do to Naruto. The jerk. Deidara smiled. Sasori-chan's fine. Besides, I wanted to see my new friend Cutie here, Naruto's eyes widened and his cheeks reddened. We're friends? Sasuke and Deidara both reacted strongly to Naruto's expression. Sasuke more so in his pants, while Deidara just felt his heart warm with love for the cute boy. Of course we are, Cutie, he exclaimed, throwing his arms around Naruto and crying. Us blondes have to stick together. Naruto hugged him back tightly, crying as well. Where have you been all my life? Sasuke's eye twitched as he watched the two guys hugging. He never hugged Sasuke like that. Alright Dobe, you're making scene. We're going to class. Sasuke grabbed Naruto by the back of his shirt and began dragging him away. Bye Cutie. I'll see you later, Deidara exclaimed, waving too much. Naruto waved back happily, then pulled away from Sasuke and began walking beside him. Naruto looked back and forth between the floor and Sasuke nervously. After observing Sasuke, he noticed something. Sasuke, you're really pretty. Sasuke stopped completely and stared at the blonde like he was about to die. What the hell did you just say? He asked. Oh well, it's just, looking at your face. You're really pretty. That's all, Naruto said, not affected by his Uchiha glare. I've gotten, before but never pretty, Dobe. Are you trying to tell me something here? It's just the way you are, okay. Naruto huffed. Your eyes, they're really pretty and they draw you in, but they seem cold, almost like you're in pain. Or you're in conflict with something. You're pale and your face is like flawless. And not to mention your duck butt hair. Naruto laughed. All I'm saying is that you're really pretty and I just now notice. Naruto said, then grinned. Sasuke continued to stare at him with a WTF expression. Honestly, how was he supposed to take that weird-ass comment? No one's ever said he was pretty before. In a weird way, he was a little happy. He never really received praise like that except from the fangirls, but it wasn't the same. Sasuke furrowed his brows. Why was Naruto the only making him feel like this? Oi, Sasuke. Naruto poked Sasuke in between the eyebrows. You're getting a permanent frown line here, he said, laughing, then jumped away before Sasuke swatted at him. Dobe, we're in public, don't get so close. Naruto frowned and it seemed his whole body slumped. Oh right, sorry, he said, then quickly turned around. Well, let's get to class, he exclaimed, feigning happiness, then ran into the classroom. Okay, so he was a little harsh. But he specifically told the blonde that they were going to have a secret relationship. It wasn't his fault the Dobe forgot. He walked into the classroom and took his usual seat by Neji and Sai while Naruto sat in the seat by the window. "Good morning, Sasuke," Sai greeted. "Where the hell were you yesterday? You weren't with him, were you?" Neji asked in disgust. Sasuke's eyes narrowed. "Yeah, I was. Got a problem with it?" Neji scoffed, then glared over at Naruto, who luckily was looking out the window, most likely daydreaming. "Ah, so you and Naruto-kun are getting along?" Sai asked. Sasuke rested his palm in his chin and sighed. "I guess you can say that. Naruto-kun is most certainly the interesting one. He is indeed not less as I thought," Sai said, smiling. Sasuke raised an eyebrow, his attention at full alert. "What did you just say?" "Oh well, the other day in gym, Neji and I were playing with Naruto and he just happened to lose his towel at the moment. But rest assured he is most certainly not less as I assumed. You can ask the whole class if you don't believe me." Sai finished. "I am so fucking happy for you, Sai. And I'm sure he just happened to lose his towel right near you guys too, right?" His eyes narrowed. "Stay the hell away from him, you albino cream puff. That goes double for you, Neji." Neji clenched his fists and glared at Sasuke. "What the hell, Sasuke? You've never had a problem when we picked on him before, so why now? It's only a bet, you jackass. When he's not around you don't have to pretend to care." Sasuke picked up his book bag and stood. "I mean it, Neji. Stay the hell away or you'll have to deal with me." All the girls in the class perked when Sasuke stood from his seat with hopeful thoughts that maybe he would sit next to them. They looked down in disappointment when Sasuke walked over and sat next to Naruto. Naruto turned completely shocked and stared at Sasuke wide-eyed. "Dobi, why didn't you tell me about what happened in gym?" Sasuke asked, crossing his arms and glaring at Naruto as if he were disciplining a child. Naruto rubbed the back of his head sheepishly and looked away. "Well, it wasn't that big of a deal, and I figured you wouldn't care." Sasuke leaned forward and flicked Naruto's forehead. "Of course I care, Dobi. Next time tell me when something like that happens. Especially if it's Sai or Neji." Naruto rubbed his forehead while pursing his lips. "Ah, but Sasuke, is this okay? People are looking." Sasuke shrugged his shoulders. "So? We're just sitting next to each other, nothing weird about that." Naruto nodded unsurely. Meanwhile, Neji seethed with anger as he watched the two of them. "Oh yeah, Uzumaki is going down." The teacher came in and immediately began talking about student announcements and things the students really didn't care for. Even with Sasuke right beside him, Naruto was still looking out the window. He looked so serene like that. Sometimes a smile would find itself upon him. Sometimes he looked like he was about to cry. Sasuke found it rather interesting to watch the blonde as he went through each emotion just by looking out the window and daydreaming. Maybe because it was raining that Naruto often had a sad expression. Sasuke was so enraptured that he didn't even hear the bell ring or Naruto get up. "Oi, Teme, class ended," Naruto said, waving his hand in front of Sasuke's face. "I'm not a kid, I heard you, Dobi," Sasuke said as he stood. They both walked out, then turned to each other. "See you at lunch, Teme," Naruto happily exclaimed, then turned and ran up to Hinata. The two immediately started giggling. Was it just him, or did Naruto seem happier? Was it wrong of Sasuke to think he was the cause of it? Sasuke had mixed emotions about watching Naruto leave his side. Half of him wanted to say screw it and walked up to him and ravish the ever-loving crap out of him. The other half seemed to prefer jumping off of a bridge. He scoffed, then turned and walked to his ever-so-important class. A few hours later, Sasuke walked out of his class and bumped into Naruto. "Dobi, what are you doing in this hall?" he asked. "Well, Sai said that teacher wanted to see me and I ended up getting lost," Naruto said, letting his head fall in embarrassment. Sasuke sighed. "Tonkaichi, you really need to stop being so gullible." He lightly hit the top of Naruto's head. "Come on, let's go eat," Sasuke said as he began walking. "Ah, but," Naruto's stomach growled, "I don't have anything to eat." Sasuke dreaded the words he was about to say. "Well, I'll buy you something." "Not those, these. Let's go to the cafeteria." The cafeteria was a place that Sasuke dubbed, "Don't step foot in unless you want to be molested and raped by fangirls land." He quickly learned that his freshman year, he was surprised he made it out of there with his virginity still intact. "Alright, let's get something clear. In and out. Don't talk to anyone, don't make eye contact with anyone. I don't want to be in here more than I have to," Sasuke ordered. Naruto held his hand to his forehead like a soldier saluting. Got it. They walked into the cafeteria and it fell silent. Naruto looked around confused while Sasuke felt himself start to sweat. This wasn't good. They were beginning to swarm. Sasuke-kun, Sakura cried. The girls began jumping up and running at a chance to get close to Sasuke. Dobi go! Sasuke yelled as he was surrounded. Naruto held the money Sasuke gave him close to his chest, then sprinted across the room and into the line. He was out in a matter of minutes, but needless to say Sasuke was surrounded in a mob of annoying fangirls. Sasuke Teme, I'm ready, Naruto shouted as he pushed through the crowd. He finally caught sight of Sasuke and grinned. Sasuke, I got the food, let's g. A foot appeared in front of him and he tripped, sending his food flying in slow motion towards Sakura. Luckily it was soup day. The contents spread all around her. Then everything went amok. The fangirls were in frenzy, grabbing anything of Sasuke they could. Sasuke pushed past them and sprinted to Naruto, who was staring at Sakura in horror. He quickly picked the light blonde up and hoisted him over his shoulder and exited the room in a fashionable hurry. They got a safe distance away and then Sasuke finally set Naruto down. "Ah man, Sakura is gonna kill me. Did you see the look on her face?" Naruto whined. When he didn't get a response he looked at Sasuke questionably. Sasuke was with his back turned to Naruto and his hand was held up to his face for some reason. Naruto walked around to see what was wrong and gasped. Sasuke was laughing. Well, quietly laughing, but you could definitely tell he was laughing. Naruto blinked then blushed as he began laughing too. Sasuke had never felt like this before. Seeing Sakura get what she so rightfully deserved was one of the happiest things that Sasuke had ever been lucky enough to see. Actually, the whole situation was somewhat funny to Sasuke and he couldn't figure out why. Usually he wanted to go home and straight up shoot himself in the face, but now he was laughing about it. And with Naruto. Why was it so easy to be himself around Naruto? Sasuke regained his composure then cleared his throat. "You are too clumsy." Naruto smiled at Sasuke. "I'm glad though. Because I was clumsy I got to see Sasuke's laughing face." Sasuke's cheeks reddened slightly and he quickly turned away. "Whatever Dobi. Don't get used to it. Now come on, I saw some snack machines near here." Naruto nodded and followed after him. They ate in the awkward silence that every teen experiences in high school. Well, it wasn't awkward per se, but it was still pretty close. They probably sat on the benches for hours it seemed, because the next thing they knew the last bell was ringing. Sasuke stood and looked down at Naruto. "Come on, I'll walk you home." Naruto frowned, wanting to interject but decided against it, knowing it was a lost battle. It was just as Naruto had feared. He was home. Just as long as they kept it quick, hopefully nothing bad would happen. Naruto cautiously approached the house, slightly hiding behind the confused Uchiha. The asshole seemed to be watching for Naruto because the door flew right open and out stepped the bastard himself. "Naruto, who is this?" he asked angrily. My friend," Naruto muttered nervously. Sasuke could sense some fear in his words. The man suddenly grabbed Naruto and jerked him forward by his arm. "If you know what's good for you, I suggest you stay away." The man threatened to the Uchiha. He turned and practically dragged Naruto into the house before slamming the door. So this was the person responsible for all the bruises, cuts, scrapes, welts, burns, gashes and everything else that now stained the blonde's body. And he had the nerve to threaten Sasuke. Sasuke fucking Uchiha. He had to give the man his props for having balls, but no one, and I mean no one, tells an Uchiha to stay away from what is rightfully theirs. Sasuke stormed up to the front door, his anger level at an all-time high. With one graceful kick the door flew open and in stepped the pissed-off Sasuke. The man had Naruto's face pressed against the wall and it had looked like he was about to hit him. "Oi, if you know what's good for you, you would step away right now. Before I get really pissed," Sasuke said, glaring at full force. The man burst in a fit of laughter as he threw Naruto down to the ground. "Sasuke, just go," Naruto yelled worriedly. "I can handle him." Naruto's foster father turned to Naruto and raised his hand to strike him. Naruto closed his eyes waiting for the blow, but it never came. He slowly opened his eyes and gasped along with his father. Sasuke held the mont's wrist firmly. "Don't touch him," he managed to say before he pulled the man forward and landed a punch directly into his stomach, causing him to fall to the ground, holding himself and coughing violently. Sasuke then kicked him again, sending him falling over onto the floor. He knelt down and leaned in close. "If you ever so much as touch him again, I will personally make sure your sad excuse for a life ends really fucking quick," Sasuke said before standing up and walking over to Naruto. Naruto stared up at Sasuke, his eyes wide, in horror. His heart was beating so fast he couldn't believe what had just happened. Sasuke smirked, then held out his hand. "Dobi, come on." Naruto shakily reached his hand out and gently grasped Sasuke's fingertips before Sasuke full-on grabbed his hand and jerked him up, but not too rough, and caught Naruto. He wrapped his arms around Naruto protectively and pulled him closer into his chest. Screw the bet, he felt like hugging him. "Don't cry, Dobi, I'm okay," Sasuke whispered. Naruto's cheeks reddened as he gripped onto Sasuke's shirt tightly with his trembling hands. "I am not crying," he said stubbornly, even though the raven could clearly feel little teardrops falling on his neck. Sasuke sighed but tightened his grip even more. They stayed like that for a few minutes before Sasuke pulled away and looked into Naruto's eyes. Maybe he did like Naruto. He wasn't sure at this point. All he knew at this moment was that he wanted to protect Naruto from everything and anyone who wanted to hurt him. "Come on, you're staying with me," Sasuke said. He grabbed Naruto's hand and walked out of that hellhole that Naruto had called home. Sasuke stood in front of his house just staring for what seemed to be hours. Sure, he had been caught up in the moment when he said Naruto could stay with him, but now that he was calm and thinking clearly, he could not believe he said that. But really, could you blame him? Who could think about what they're saying when they have an adorable blonde Dobi grasping onto them tightly while crying his poor heart out? Sasuke cringed at his thoughts. I really have to stay out of my head more. Naruto looked over at Sasuke, his eyes still a little red from all the crying. "This is your house, right? Why are we just looking at it?" he asked. "Shut it, Dobi, I need to prepare," Sasuke said sternly, then turned to Naruto. "Okay, listen. My brother is a UAL deviant, so stay away from him, and don't be alone with him. As for my father, only speak when he speaks to you. Got it?" Naruto nodded slowly. "Don't worry, Sasuke Teme, I'll be on my best behavior," he said, grinning. Sasuke's sweat dropped. "That's what I'm afraid of." He turned back to the house and began walking towards it. He could tell Itachi was here, but his father's car wasn't. Maybe this will go well after all. He opened the door as quietly as he could, then snuck in with Naruto and slowly shut it. Naruto looked all around, trying to take everything in at once. He had never seen such a huge, shiny, clean house. There were two huge spiral staircases right when you walked in on either side that led to the almost as big second floor. It was a long hallway, and Naruto could tell that at the very end was the kitchen. He would definitely find that out for sure later. Well, little brother. What do we have here?" Itachi asked from the top of the beautiful spiral staircase. Sasuke froze and slowly turned around. "Hi, I'm Naruto," Naruto exclaimed, throwing his hand in the air and waving. Sasuke smacked his forehead, then clamped his hand over Naruto's mouth. "Shut up, Dobi," he whispered angrily before turning to Itachi. "This is Naruto. He's gonna stay with me for a while until we can figure something out." Itachi crossed his arms and smirked. "You don't have to run that by me. It's father you have to worry about. In fact, he's here right now and he's been asking to see you for quite some time." Sasuke's eyes widened. "But his car isn't. He got someone to drive him home," Itachi said as he walked down the stairs and over to Naruto, wrapping an arm around his shoulder. "Don't worry, little brother, I'll take really good care of Naruto," he said, smirking. If it was any other day, Sasuke would have told Itachi to fuck off. But his dad was calling for him. He had no time to waste on Naruto. Besides, Itachi wouldn't do anything bad, right? "Just stay out of trouble until I get back," Sasuke said before turning and walking away quickly. Itachi looked down at Naruto, his sadistic side coming out. "You must be thirsty. Allow me to get you a drink." He smiled deviously. Naruto smiled back, completely oblivious. "Yeah, thanks. Oh, this is going to be fun," Itachi thought as he led Naruto upstairs to his room. Sasuke stopped when he got to his father's office and lightly knocked on the door. "Father, it's me, Sasuke," he said quietly. "Come in," a stern voice ordered. Sasuke walked in, making sure to keep his head low and sat in one of the chairs at his desk. You've been coming home later than usual. Sasuke's father sat at his desk with the chair turned away from Sasuke and facing the wall. I made a new friend and I have been helping him out. Sasuke answered politely. This friend better not get in the way of your studies or you'll see yourself getting transferred. Fugaku, his father, said. Sasuke winced. He isn't father. My grades are still perfect just like you wanted. Sasuke waited a minute before speaking again. Father, my friend currently has nowhere to live right now. Would it be alright for him to stay with me for a while? He asked nervously. Fugaku took a minute to reply then finally said. Alright I suppose but he is your responsibility. Also, bring him to dinner. I am curious as to meet your friend. Sasuke nodded, mentally freaking out in his head. Yes sir. He stood, then bowed and walked out. After he softly closed the door he sprinted away and up the stairs, searching frantically for the blonde. He searched the rooms he figured Itachi would take him before he finally got to Itachi's room. Why do I get a bad feeling about this? Sasuke thought as he slowly opened the door. His heart stopped and he visibly paled. There sat Naruto, chugging what he could only think to be vodka and Itachi laughing at him. Not bad, drinking so earnestly, Itachi said happily. He crossed the room and quickly jerked the bottle away from Naruto and glared at Itachi. Itachi, what the hell? Dad wants to have dinner with him. He can't do it if he's drunk out of his mind. Sasuke yelled angrily. Oi! Naruto moaned as he shakily stood. Did you take ma beer? He pointed at the wall whom he honestly believed to be Sasuke. Sasuke sighed and turned Naruto around so he was actually facing him. Dobi, I'm right here. Naruto squinted his eyes, trying to make out the blurry figure in front of him then grinned. No thank you pretty lady, I already got Sasuke as my boyfriends. Sasuke's eye twitched. This was going to be a long night. It wasn't helping that Itachi was just sitting there laughing. Naruto blinked then jumped happily. Sasuke, when did you get here? He exclaimed then wrapped his arms around Sasuke's shoulder. Sasuke, kiss me, Naruto said as he puckered his lips at Sasuke. Dobi, get the hell off. Sasuke yelled. Naruto was lucky that Itachi was there or he would have gotten more than kisses but alas he couldn't just take advantage of the poor blonde. Naruto licked his lips hungrily before pushing Sasuke down on the bed and crawling on top of him. Sasuke looked up at the hot mess that was Naruto. He felt his pants tighten as he drunk in the sight. Not only was Naruto basically riding his crotch like there was no tomorrow, but he had one of the most perverted looks Sasuke had ever seen and he liked it. Sasuke, you can't run now. Let's do perverted things. Naruto said drunkenly as he began to pull off his shirt. Oh, now it's a show. Itachi chimed in. Sasuke snapped out of his horny trance and quickly sat up, pulling Naruto's shirt back down. Sasuke, what's wrong? Don't you want to do perverted things with me? Naruto asked. Sasuke glared over at Itachi then quickly grabbed the blonde with his arms and carried him out of the room and over to his. He discarded the drunk blonde onto the bed then glared at him. Why the hell did you drink? He yelled angrily. Naruto sat up, almost falling back twice before getting on his hands and knees and crawling over to Sasuke seductively. Sasuke? Naruto whispered breathlessly as he stared up at Sasuke hungrily. Sasuke gulped. This was a truly dangerous situation. For example, right now he had a drunk, horny, hot blonde Dobi in front of him practically begging to be fucked and believe me Sasuke would be happy to oblige. But then again his douche of a brother was probably listening in so he could pop in at any moment and, the cherry on top, the dinner with his father. How the hell was he supposed to bring Naruto to dinner when all the blonde could think about was getting into Sasuke's pants? Sasuke, father is calling for you and your horny friend. Itachi yelled from outside Sasuke's room then walked downstairs to sit at the table. And there goes my boner. Sasuke thought as him and Lil Sasuke deflated. He looked at Naruto and sighed. Alright, let's get this over with. He grabbed Naruto's hand and began dragging him. Teme, not so fast. Naruto whined. I'm gonna get sick if you go too fast. Naruto slumped against Sasuke, laughing wildly. I want to ride the pony too. Sasuke's sweat dropped then picked Naruto up in a princess carry and slowly and carefully walked down the stairs. When he was sure the blonde could walk without falling or breaking something he set him down. Just try not to make him too mad. Sasuke said, defeated. They walked in and Sasuke cursed whatever supposed god did exist. All of his family was gathered around the table. Itachi was smirking over at Naruto while his mother just looked at peace, and his father, well, he looked the same, pissed. He guided Naruto over to his seat and helped him sit down, then took the seat beside him. So Naruto-kun, how has school been? Itachi asked knowingly. Sasuke ground his teeth. Itachi, Sasuke, Itachi said smiling. Naruto, Naruto exclaimed holding his hand up in the air. Sasuke, Itachi asked your fiend a question. Let him answer. Fugaku said sternly. Sasuke rubbed his temples. This was not going to turn out good. Naruto swayed a little before looking at Itachi. I got all the bad grades, he said laughing. Everyone keeps telling me that F is for fantastic. Naruto finished with a burp. Makoto and Fugaku both raised their eyebrows at Naruto's behavior. Really now, how interesting. Itachi said, feigning interest. Sasuke glared over at Itachi, ready to kill the bastard. And how did you meet my sweet little brother? Naruto looked over at Sasuke and squinted his eyes, then grinned. Sasuke was the prettiest dancer I ever saw. He stroked Sasuke's cheek, earning a confused and pissed off look from Sasuke. Dancer? Fugaku questioned. Yes, that's right. Naruto stood and pointed at Fugaku. He is a beautiful young lady and he deserves to go to a ball. And you know what, I'm gonna take him to a ball. Sasuke grabbed Naruto's shirt and pulled him back down into the seat. God, please kill him now. Shut up, you idiot, Sasuke whispered angrily. Sasuke, your friend certainly is unique. Makoto said smiling. Unique is an understatement. Fugaku mumbled. So, Naruto was it. What circumstances led to you needing a place to stay? Naruto groaned and looked over at Fugaku angrily. What circumstances led to you having that face? Oh, Naruto shouted, then burst into laughter. Sasuke smacked his forehead. This was it, he was really going to die. Itachi just sat, smirking and chuckling. It truly was a good day. Naruto began eating his food with his hands, making sure to put it everywhere but his mouth. He soon became bored with that and began slinging the food around. First at Sasuke, then his target became Fugaku. He put some mashed potatoes into his spoon and before Sasuke could stop him, he slung it at Fugaku. Whoops, Naruto said, then laughed. The whole table sat in horror, waiting for Fugaku's reaction. Oh yes, there was going to be blood. Fugaku blinked, then stood. Sasuke, I would like a word with you, he said before storming away. Sasuke sighed and stood, pulling Naruto with him. May we be excused? He asked. Makoto smiled and nodded. Sasuke took Naruto's hand and led him upstairs in silence. He got to an empty room, then opened it and pushed Naruto in. Wait here for me, he ordered, then shut the door and locked it from the outside. He could hear Naruto whine and hit against the door, but those sounds were all insignificant at the moment. He was heading to his death. He arrived at Fugaku's office and knocked. Come in, Fugaku said from the inside. Sasuke sighed and opened the door, keeping his head lower than usual. Yes, father. He sat down. You wanted to speak to me? Fugaku slowly turned around, glaring down at Sasuke. It's about your friend. Sasuke looked up. Fugaku's suddenly stern expression turned softer as he smiled. I like him. I'm glad you are making friends like him. He can stay as long as he wants. Sasuke slowly nodded, then stood, bowed and walked out. He leaned against the wall trying to make sense of what just happened. Had his father just smiled? What's more, how in the world was Naruto's behavior considered normal to him? Could he really not tell that he was shit-faced? His eyes lowered and he smiled. Maybe this was the effect Naruto had on everyone, drunk or not. He made them happy, feel warm. You didn't have to put up a front with him. He could see through your worst imperfections and still smile at you like they were nothing. He never judged or hated. Sasuke walked up to the room he had locked Naruto in and unlocked it and walked in. He sighed and smiled again when he saw him. Naruto was on the floor with his feet propped up on the bed and he was passed out. He crossed the room and gently picked the light boy up, then headed for his room. He was not about to leave a completely defenseless passed out Dobi in a room alone with Itachi here. If anyone was going to take advantage of Naruto, he would rather it be him. He entered his room and walked over to the bed and gently set Naruto down. Naruto stirred and opened his eyes slightly. Sasuke, he groaned. He shakily reached out his arms and held them out in front of Sasuke. Yeah, Dobi. Sasuke crawled into bed with him, wrapping his arms around Naruto while Naruto did the same to him. Meanwhile, Sasuke made a mental note that next time Naruto gets drunk the house should be empty. Naruto's eyes fluttered open. At that moment there were a lot of things going through his mind like, why did his head hurt so much? But he was more confused about the fact that he and a certain raven were wrapped in each other's arms. Naruto blushed and looked up at Sasuke. He looked so different when he was sleeping, not as angry as he looked all the time, more peaceful. All the walls he had built up to protect himself were slowly crumbling before him, and the only one who managed to break those walls were Sasuke. Naruto was falling in love with Sasuke, not that he wasn't before. Now it was serious. He was seriously head over heels for the raven. Sasuke groaned then slowly opened his eyes. It took him a minute but when everything clicked he raised a brow. What are you doing? He asked. Naruto was lying on Sasuke's chest just looking up at Sasuke. Naruto rested his head against Sasuke's chest and rubbed his temples. What happened last night? He groaned. My head really hurts. Sasuke's eye twitched. Your head hurts? What about me? I had to take care of your drunken ass. Sasuke pushed Naruto off then stood and stretched. Never in a million years would he tell the blonde that sleeping with him was actually one of the only nights he had gotten actual sleep, or that in the middle of the night. He simply just stared at the drunk, passed out blonde that had his arms wrapped around Sasuke as if he was going to disappear. Naruto truly was beautiful in Sasuke's eyes. Naruto rubbed his rear, from where it hit the floor. Sasuke Teme, I'm sorry, he whined. I didn't mean to. It's alright. Apparently my dad likes crazy drunk people. He said you can stay as long as you want. He walked over and knelt down in front of the blonde smirking. That means you're gonna stay in this room with me for a long time. Naruto gulped as a blush appeared on his cheeks. Pervert. He huffed, quickly standing and moving away from Sasuke. Sasuke had long forgotten about the bet. All he could think about was Naruto. When he tried to imagine the clueless idiot with someone else, it just angered him beyond reason. He hadn't meant to, but he formed a bond with Naruto, one that could never be easily broken. Sasuke-sama, your father requests Naruto's presence. A maid said from the door then disappeared. Sasuke looked questionably to Naruto. Don't worry, I'll walk you there. Sasuke took Naruto's hand and walked out of his room and down the stairs. He approached the room cautiously then turned to Naruto. Naruto grinned. Don't worry, I'm good with people, he reassured. No, Dobi, no you are not, Sasuke sighed. I'll be right here if anything happens. Naruto nodded then slowly walked in. You wanted to see me? He asked. You are definitely like him, Fugaku said before turning around in his chair. What are you talking about? Naruto asked. Fugaku waved for Naruto to sit. It was when I was young, about Sasuke's age to be exact. I was quite the crybaby, believe it or not. He looked at Naruto. I don't believe it. You always look so mean. Naruto said bluntly. Fugaku's eye twitched. Anyways, I had run away into the forest and was crying my eyes out. It was then that someone approached me. I swear, he looked just like you. Naruto's eyes widened as he listened. When he saw me, he smiled like there was nothing wrong with the world. I had never seen someone so carefree. Needless to say, it angered me, so I yelled at him. He chuckled nostalgically. I'll never forget the words he said to me back then. You shouldn't let the bad things weigh you down. Once you do, it'll just get harder for you. Those few simple words really saved me. He looked to Naruto, waiting for the information to finally click. Wait, do you know where he is right now? Naruto exclaimed. Fugaku shook his head. All I know is that he is somewhere in the city. I will do some research if you please. I am also curious as to meet up with him again. Naruto shook his head. Thank you. You aren't such a teme after all. Naruto said as he threw his arms around Fugaku, wrapped his arms around Fugaku tightly. Alright. Now walk out looking scared so my son will still think I'm an asshole. Naruto laughed. You really should be nice to him, you know. Yeah, I know, but it's more fun to screw with people, Fugaku said, smirking. Naruto's sweat dropped. Like father like sons, he thought, then stepped away from Fugaku and grinned. Thank you for everything, he said then turned. Oh, and Naruto, I have been made aware of your situation. You will be staying with us as long as you please. Naruto nodded then walked out, feigning fright. Sasuke blinked then grabbed Naruto's shoulder. What did he do to you? He asked. Naruto mentally snickered. He smiled. He joked then ran away as Sasuke tried hitting him. They got back to the room and Sasuke shut the door behind them. Hurry and get dressed or we'll be late for school, Sasuke said gathering his school things. Naruto stood staring at Sasuke, looking away nervously. I don't have anything to wear. That's why you're wearing my clothes. Sasuke crossed the room to his dresser and pulled out some clothes. It was a pair of black skinny pants which looked to be about Naruto's size, but of course the boy weighed practically nothing. The shirt, which Sasuke had looked for while Naruto was passed out, was orange and outlined with black. Sasuke smirked as he watched Naruto put the clothes on. The idiot Dobi didn't know that all his clothes had the Uchiha symbol on them, and he wasn't about to tell him either. People needed to know who Naruto belonged to. As expected, the clothes were a little loose but fit nonetheless. Alright, let's go, Sasuke said as he walked out. Naruto followed right behind. They got into the car and were given a ride to school. Naruto argued against getting chauffeured, mumbling angrily about stupid rich people. Sasuke, of course, disregarded every single word, as he was determined to show Naruto a little of the good life. Once they got out of the car, everyone stopped and stared. Naruto began scooting away from Sasuke, but Sasuke only grabbed him and pulled him closer. Teme, what are you doing? People will find out, Naruto shouted, his cheeks red. Sasuke leaned in close so their noses were touching. What if I want them to know? He asked before he smirked and pulled away. Let's go, he grabbed Naruto's hand and began walking. Sasuke walked through the halls like it was just another day to him, however Naruto was flipping out. He had never had so many people looking at him before. It was kind of nice in a way, especially since he was walking beside one of the most popular guys in school. So many things had happened recently, but Naruto never expected for it to turn out like this. He was, for one of the first times in his life, happy. He'd finally found someone who was going to be there for him, understand him. It was definitely a plus that they were dating. Although Naruto had never thought of himself as being gay, it didn't matter to him. Love shouldn't be bound by gender. He looked over to Sasuke and smiled softly. He could see himself years from now waking up to that broody asshole of a boyfriend and loving it. Naruto then looked down determined. They walked into homeroom, and the gossip began again, mostly from the fangirls. Sasuke walked past Neji and Sai, not sparing them a glance, and sat in the seat right next to Naruto. He was done with Neji's pathetic bullying of Naruto, and, quite frankly, he was embarrassed to even be seen with them. They were immature. Looks like Sasuke is sitting with Naruto-kun again, Sai said to Neji. Neji seared with anger. What the hell was Sasuke thinking? He'd heard about them holding hands in the hallway, and now this? Sasuke wouldn't even look at him. Neji was beyond pissed. Uzumaki was definitely going down. He turned to Sai and leaned in close to whisper his dastardly plan. Sai pulled back, unsure. Isn't that going a little too far? He asked. Neji smirked. That loser needs to be taught a lesson. Are you in or not? He asked impatiently. Sai slowly nodded. Okay, we'll get him after lunch. Neji finished. Blah blah blah. As soon as homeroom finished, Naruto and Sasuke stood and walked out. Neji glared after them. They got to the end of the hall where they had to separate. They both stopped. Naruto blushed and looked away nervously. He never liked this part, leaving Sasuke's side. It didn't feel right. Sasuke seemed to notice and lifted his hand to stroke the blonde's cheek. We'll meet up for lunch, he said, then pulled away smirking. Don't get into trouble, Dobi. I know you're a magnet for it. Naruto growled. Oh please, I can take care of myself. He yelled, flustered. Sasuke ruffled Naruto's hair. Sure, Dobi, see you later, he said, then turned and walked away. Naruto touched his hair, where Sasuke's hand had just been, and his blush deepened. He grinned, turning to walk to his class. Neji stepped out from his hiding place and secretly followed after Naruto, along with Sai. He nodded at Sai, signaling the start of their plan. Sai walked ahead trying to catch up to Naruto. Ah, Naruto-kun, Sai called. Naruto turned and immediately his defenses went up. What do you want? He asked. Sai smiled. I just wanted to talk. Is that all right? He asked innocently. Naruto nodded cautiously. Sai smiled again then frowned. I want to apologize for my behavior all this time. I was just following Neji's lead. I never meant to cause you any harm. Would you ever forgive me? Naruto thought for a moment, then held out his hand, grinning. Of course. You seem like a pretty cool guy. I don't really like holding grudges anyways. Sai's eyes widened. How could someone really be this gullible? It almost made him tempted to take advantage of the poor blonde more and more. So Naruto-kun, will you allow me to buy you a snack? He asked. Naruto nodded and they began walking down the hall. They got to the machine and Naruto began to drool. He hadn't had breakfast this morning, so he was starving. Those Reese cups look good. Naruto whined, pressing his face against the glass. What happened next was a blur. Naruto felt someone grab him from behind, but then everything went black, as if something was over his eyes. He had no time to struggle when he was hit very hard in the back of his head, knocking him out. Naruto slowly opened his eyes. Everything was pitch black, but he could tell something was over his eyes, almost like a cloth. He raised his hand up to remove it but found that it was tightly bound to his other arm behind his back. What's going on? Naruto stuttered out, the realization beginning to set in. A snicker echoed throughout the room, and the next thing Naruto knew, he was being grabbed by his hair and shoved against something. The cloth around his eyes was ripped away, along with some of his hair, and immediately he wished it was back on. Neji was standing over him, glaring at Naruto like he was an abomination. He glanced around the room and noted that they were still in school, but it seemed that they were in the abandoned classrooms that no one ever dared to enter. Lucky for Naruto. Naruto whimpered, and that only made Neji tighten his grip on Naruto's hair. Why? Naruto gasped out in pain. Sasuke likes me, that's why he treats me like that. You're just jealous. Naruto yelled back angrily, his anger overtaking his fear. Jealous? You wish. Don't worry, by the time I'm done with you, your precious Sasuke will be so disgusted with this body he won't ever touch you again. Before Naruto could interject, he was jerked up, then slammed onto a desk roughly. Neji grabbed the front of his shirt, noticing the Uchiha symbol, and ripped it so most of Naruto's chest was showing. Stop! Naruto shouted as he began to struggle. Neji shook his head, then took the cloth that was around Naruto's eyes and shoved it into his mouth as a makeshift gag. Can't have anyone hearing us now, can we? He said, smirking. Tears began pouring out of Naruto as the situation became more and more out of control. He was helpless. His wrists were raw from where he was struggling to get free, and he could definitely tell there were some bruises on his back from where he was thrown against the desk. He looked up at Neji, wondering what he did to set him off. Stop struggling so much, Usura-Tonkachi. Neji teased. Naruto gasped and stopped struggling. He turned and looked at Neji in disbelief. What? Didn't think I noticed? You two were so obvious, it was sickening. Too bad it was all for pretend. He then smirked. Oh, that's right, you didn't know. He jerked Naruto's pants away, then pulled him forward roughly. Sasuke was only talking to you because I made a bet with him. He couldn't stand you, but I told him that if he went out with you for a week then dumped your ass in front of the whole school and for me to watch, that I wouldn't tell Sakura where he lived. Naruto stared at Neji in disbelief. It couldn't be the truth, it just couldn't. Sasuke would never do something like that. What happened between them? It wasn't one big lie. He was pulled away from his thoughts when he felt something poke him. Neji had removed his pants and had bent Naruto down and was about to do the unthinkable. Naruto gasped and began moving again, trying to get away. Please, don't. Neji grabbed him angrily, then slammed him down on the desk belly first, then thrusted all the way into Naruto roughly, not even bothering with preparing the poor boy. But hey, he wasn't doing this because he wanted to. Sasuke needed to be with someone more better than Naruto. Someone who could actually stand by his side and be proud, not some nobody loser. Someone like Neji. Naruto bit into the gag as hard as he could. If it wasn't in his mouth, his pain-filled scream would have echoed throughout the whole building. It felt like he had been ripped in two. How does it feel, Uzumaki? Neji leaned in and whispered, no one's going to save you. They all want you dead too. Especially Sasuke. He smirked when he felt Naruto tighten around him. He began thrusting in and out as rough as he could, making sure to occasionally strike Naruto. He wanted to scar Naruto so bad he wouldn't ever show his face again. Naruto could smell his own blood. He imagined it was probably bleeding a good amount down there. Neji wasn't exactly being gentle, not that he intended to from the start. Naruto's body felt so numb, like he was watching everything from above. He could faintly hear his own heartbeat resounding in his chest. Why did he even bother having one? Sasuke was supposed to be different. He felt a connection with him, but to Sasuke, Naruto was just like all the rest. Maybe he really should disappear. Everyone would be so much better off if Naruto was dead. Naruto felt Neji release himself into him, then pulled out, panting heavily. He smirked as he looked down at Naruto. You quit struggling halfway through. Did it finally set in? He asked as he began putting his clothes on. Just do everyone a favor and disappear. He took one last look at Naruto and spit on him, then turned and walked out. Naruto lay there, staring off into the room. Tears were still pouring from his eyes, but his expression was emotionless. His eyes were dead to the world. He could honestly say he died on the inside. His heart was no more something that made him happy, it now pierced his chest like a knife. He slowly sat up and looked down. There was a small puddle of blood around him, and he could see bruises and whatever else on his body. He reached down and grabbed his pants, gently pulling them on, then slowly slid off the desk, wincing at the pain. He kept his head low as he walked out of the classroom and down the hall. What else was he supposed to do? Meanwhile, Sasuke paced back and forth in front of the stairs. Naruto was late for lunch. Naruto was never late for lunch. In fact, Sasuke liked watching Naruto eat the meals Sasuke brought him because Naruto would always eat them so earnestly, like it was the first meal he had ever tasted. It made Sasuke feel, dare he say it, all warm inside. Everyone was beginning to walk back to class. Sasuke took one last look around, then took off down the hall, searching for his dobi. He saw Hinata and walked up to her. Have you seen Naruto? He asked. Hinata slowly shook her head, and no. He's usually with you, she said shyly. Hey, emo. A flamboyant voice yelled anxiously. Sasuke's eyes twitched. He really wasn't in the mood for Deidara. I saw Cutie. Sasuke quickly turned to Deidara. Where? He was following some albino kid near the abandoned hallway. I'm really worried, Deidara said, frowning. Sasuke took off towards the abandoned hallways. Sai was the only unnaturally white kid in the whole school, so it was obvious that Sai was involved. I mean seriously, Sasuke's pale, but not that pale. Most likely Neji had planned something and Naruto was naive enough to follow along. He turned the hallway and spotted a distant figure leaning against the wall for support. He focused more on the object and his eyes widened. Naruto, he hurried over to him. What happened to? Naruto brought his fist up and made contact with Sasuke's face. Sasuke stumbled back and held his cheek, then looked at Naruto with complete shock. Was it funny? Naruto asked, his head low so his bangs were covering his eyes, but Sasuke could tell he was crying. Was what funny? Naruto, what's going on? Sasuke asked worriedly. Naruto grabbed him by the front of his shirt. You know damn well what I'm talking about. Was it funny to play with my feelings like that? Sasuke's eyes widened. That's right, I know about your bet. Naruto looked up at Sasuke and Sasuke felt his heart sink. Besides the new bruises, Naruto's face looked dismal. Like he was just an empty shell. He then lowered his head. I thought that, he sobbed, I really liked you and you were just tricking me. Naruto, Naruto brought his fist up and punched Sasuke again. I'll do you and Neji and everyone else a favor and disappear forever. He yelled, then ran away as fast as he could with the pain he was in. Sasuke watched him leave, then looked down and noticed little droplets of blood. Naruto wasn't bleeding, or at least wasn't visibly bleeding. He heard a snicker, then turned around and narrowed his eyes. Neji walked out, his arms crossed. Don't worry, you won the bet. That was a marvelous show. He clapped his hands. Sasuke closed the distance between them quickly. He shoved Neji against the wall and glared at him. What did you do? He growled out. Neji held his hands in the air. Whoa Sasuke, cool it. It's not like you care or anything. All I did was talk to him. Honestly, I felt bad for the kid. He actually thought you two were together. Neji finished with a laugh. We were, Sasuke said, his expression not changing. Neji's expression fell. I forgot all about that stupid bet. You can tell all the fangirls where I live for all I care. Now I'm going to tell you this one more time, stay away from him before I get real mad. Sasuke said, then turned and began walking away in search of his dobi, Naruto's last words still repeating in his head. Neji clenched his fists, his anger rising. This wasn't going according to plan. He stormed over to Sasuke and grabbed him by his shoulder and turned him around, then pressed his lips to Sasuke's. Sasuke stood there in complete shock before pushing him away. "Forget about that loser. Be with me," Neji shouted desperately. "Desperate hussy. Ha ha. I belong to Naruto," Sasuke said before turning around again. It was going to take him a while to block what just happened from his mind. Him and Neji, come on now, even the fangirls would be repulsed. "Too bad he doesn't belong to you anymore," Neji mumbled, causing Sasuke to stop. He then smirked. "Oh, you heard me? Just thought you should know he isn't a virgin anymore thanks to me," he stated proudly. The next thing he knew, Sasuke's fist was coming towards him and he flew back. Sasuke walked over to him and jerked him up. "You're going to regret ever touching him," he ground out. "Sasuke, I think you should stop," Sai said from the corner. Sasuke turned and glared over at Sai. "Why the fuck should I? I know Neji deserves it, but right now you should be more focused on Naruto-kun. He didn't look good when he left." Sai spoke, looking at the floor in shame. Sasuke's reasoning began to come back to him when he heard Naruto's name. He let go of Neji and began walking away. "I'm still kicking both of your asses," he said before turning down the hall. Sai looked down at Neji with disgust, then turned and walked away. Neji hit his fists against the floor. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. Sasuke was supposed to be with him, not that loser. Sasuke got to the doors of the school and looked out. It was pouring down rain and Naruto was somewhere in the midst of it. He burst through the doors and ran out into the rain. "Naruto," he shouted. Naruto was walking in the rain slowly, not caring of the possible hypothermia he could get or of the immense pain all over his body. All he wanted was for it to go away, the pain, his sadness, and everything else. Why had he even been born into this world if all he had done was suffer? Was he not meant to have a happy life? What had he done that was so bad for him to deserve this? Time was not an issue anymore to Naruto. In fact, time it seems stopped for him. He was seeing everything in slow motion. It was still the same though, people weren't even so much as glancing in his direction despite his rugged appearance. Would everything really be better if he just disappeared? It wasn't like anyone would notice and he didn't have anyone at home waiting for him. He looked up when he saw a bridge in the distance that was over a busy highway and began heading in that direction. Sasuke ran through the streets as fast as he could. He checked the places he thought Naruto might have ran to. He even checked Naruto's old house, but the only thing there was a scared man who cowered in fear when he saw Sasuke. "Bastard deserved it. Naruto, Naruto?" Sasuke repeated in his head as he looked frantically through the streets. It was pouring down rain, and the sun was going down. Sasuke knew Naruto wouldn't go back to his house, no matter how much he wished Naruto would, so he searched everywhere he thought Naruto would go. The restaurant where they had their first dinner together, the park where they had their first kiss, nothing. Why was the boy with the brightest colored hair and the prettiest, blue eyes so hard to find? You would have thought he stood out. Sasuke had fallen for the blonde and fallen hard. If only he could have told Naruto the truth, then maybe it would have turned out different. No, he can't keep thinking of what should have happened. He needed to focus on the now, and Naruto was his now and maybe his forever, maybe. Sasuke had never fallen this badly for someone in his whole life. What made Naruto so different from everyone else? Was it his smile that just gave off a warm feeling and made you believe that nothing really was wrong with the world? Or was it his eyes that were as blue as the sky and always lifted everyone's mood? It could have been his big mouth that was always obnoxious yet spoke the truth. Sasuke could go on and on about the admirable things Naruto possessed. Sasuke huffed. Now was really not the time to be deep in thought. He needed to find his dobi and fast. Meanwhile, Naruto's heartbeat quickened as he stared off the side of the bridge. It wasn't that high off the ground, but still, it was over a pretty busy interstate, so death was guaranteed. He moved under the rail and stepped out onto the ledge and gazed down at the bustling cars. Was he really about to do this? Could he move his foot forward that half an inch and just let gravity do its work? It seemed easy in theory, but when it actually came to doing the deed, Naruto was, well, frightened. But really, what did he have waiting for him? He gave up his only home to stay with someone who turned out to be using Naruto for his sick joke. Naruto was so deep in thought, he could only faintly hear someone calling his name. It was barely even a whisper to Naruto, who thought this was all one bad dream. "Naruto, The voice yelled desperately. Why? Naruto thought as he began to close his eyes. Why at the very end do I have to hear that Tami's voice? Naruto leaned forward. It felt like he was at the top of a roller coaster ride right when it was about to fall down the rest of the track. His stomach seemed to flip as his feet left the ledge and his body began to drop. Naruto closed his eyes, completely accepting his fate, but a hand reached out and grabbed his wrist roughly, catching him midair. Don't you give up, you hear me? You can't just die like this. The voice yelled. Naruto's eyes opened slightly and looked down at the ground that had grown closer and the many cars passing by. His attention then went to the voice that was yelling as if its life was at stake. Naruto honestly couldn't think of anyone who would so worried if he died or not. Usura Tonkatsu, help me out here. Sasuke yelled down to Naruto. Naruto's eyes fluttered open at the familiar name. He slowly looked up and his eyes widened. Sasuke? He said in disbelief. Sasuke was where Naruto just been standing. Only he held onto the railing with one hand to keep himself from falling and grasped Naruto tightly with the other. Sasuke pressed himself flat on his stomach, wrapped his legs around the railing, and then reached out and grabbed Naruto's other arm to pull him up. Naruto seemed to realize this and began to struggle. No, let me go. I want to do this. Naruto yelled, seeming like a whole different person. I want to die. I'm not gonna lose you, damn it. Sasuke snarled. There was no way in hell he was letting go. Why? You don't care about me. You had your fun, now let me do everyone a favor and disappear. Naruto said as he began to sob anew. Because Dobi, I like you. Sasuke yelled down to Naruto desperately. Okay. So it kind of just escaped his lips, but he had been meaning to tell Naruto anyways, no matter rushed it may have sounded. Everything seemed to stop at that moment and it was only the two of them. The passing cars and nearby people who stopped to see what were going on were invisible to them. Time, it seemed, stopped altogether. Naruto stopped his flailing and slowly looked up at Sasuke. What did you? Sasuke frowned as his cheeks reddened. He hadn't planned on telling him like this. He had hoped for a more romantic setting so that hopefully afterwards there could have been some. Sasuke could dream, right? You heard me. Sasuke responded. Now at least help me pull you up. Then you can be in shock all you want. With little help from Naruto, Sasuke finally managed to pull Naruto up and away from the ledge. What the hell were you thinking? Sasuke argued, killing yourself isn't going to solve anything. It only leaves everyone else feeling miserable as fuck. Damn it, Naruto, he sighed. What if I got here a little later? You would have been. Sasuke shuddered, not being able to finish. Just the thought of Naruto dying made his heart hurt. Naruto clenched his fists. You can act like you're worried all you want. You're not fooling me this time. I'm not making the same mistake twice. He turned away from Sasuke, clutching his shirt tightly. Sasuke frowned, then walked over to Naruto and pulled him close, wrapping his arms around Naruto tightly. I don't expect you to forgive me, or trust me. Just please come home with me. You're soaked. Naruto pushed Sasuke away, trying his hardest to fight the blush from appearing on his cheeks. Shut up. I don't need your pity. He scoffed. No, he couldn't allow himself to drop his guard around Sasuke. Never again. It's not pity. Besides, it's not like you have any other place to go. He couldn't help the smirk that crept up on his lips when Naruto puffed his cheeks out. Good, Naruto was acting a little like his usual self. Naruto turned and began walking when Sasuke put his hand on his shoulder to stop him. Let me call Itachi. It's a pretty far walk. Naruto shoved Sasuke's hand away, then turned away and crossed his arms. He hated to admit it, but Sasuke was right. Naruto didn't realize that he had ventured this far away. He had been preoccupied with other things. Sasuke sighed, then took out his cell phone and dialed Itachi's number. Naruto heard Sasuke mutter somethings and then he hung up. To say it was awkward was an understatement. Neither knew what to say to the other, not that Naruto wanted to say anything at all to the bastard Uchiha, but still. Itachi came in a jet, black Mercedes about 10 minutes later. Damn rich people and their expensive cars. He stopped in front of them and unlocked the doors. Don't get the seat dirty, Itachi said from the front seat. Sasuke scoffed, then opened the door for Naruto, and then got in after him. Do I even want to know what you two were doing at this end of town? Itachi asked as he drove off. He looked into the rear-view mirror at the two silent brooding boys in the back. Naruto's expression held that dull hint of despair, like he was just there in body, but everything else was missing. Sasuke kept glancing over at Naruto as if worried about something. He would have to ask Sasuke later, this was interesting after all. They arrived at the house and Itachi drove up the driveway. As soon as he put the car in park, Naruto was out of the car and into the house before either Sasuke or Itachi could tell him to wait. Care to explain, little brother? Itachi looked back at Sasuke. Sasuke furrowed his brows, it's nothing, we just got into a little fight. Sasuke slid off the seat and out of the car, not waiting for Itachi. He had never felt like this. He felt so hurt. Naruto was probably feeling twice that though. He walked into the house and up the stairs to the guest room, figuring Naruto would want to be alone. He stopped in front of the room where he had locked Naruto in before when he was drunk. Naruto, he said softly, then pressed his ear to the door and listened intently for any sounds. What he heard made his heart sting even more. Naruto was crying again, more like sobbing uncontrollably. Sasuke clenched his fists, then walked to his room and shut the door behind him. What could he do for Naruto now? He was the one who caused Naruto to be in this state. Everything just seemed to all go downhill in such a short time. What he would give for it to just go back to the way it was. Maybe then if Naruto got upset he could have wrapped his arms around the boy and comfort him. Naruto's pav. Naruto shakily stood from his crouched position by the bed and walked into the guest bathroom, deciding to clean himself off and maybe warm up. He turned the hot water on, then carefully stripped himself until he was naked. He turned and looked at himself in the mirror. For the first time in his life he couldn't recognize himself in the mirror. He wasn't the person he used to be, always cheerful yet kept distance from others so there would be no pain, no heartbreak. How did he allow himself to let his guard down? It was a stupid move. This person staring back at him looked so different from what he used to be. Naruto stepped into the shower and looked down at the bottom. Almost immediately the water that had collected at the bottom turned red, reminding him of the horrific event that had occurred hours earlier. He shut his eyes tightly and fell to his knees, not being able to keep it in any longer. He finally broke down. Sasuke lay on his bed, listening to the sounds of the shower from the guest bedroom. If it were a day ago he would have walked in and tried to get in the shower with Naruto, but now that idea seemed awful. Why couldn't he just have been honest with himself, and with Naruto? Maybe none of this would have happened. Now he was stuck, he had no idea what to do. They couldn't just live out the rest of their lives not talking to each other. Sasuke couldn't bear it. He sat up when he heard the water cut off. Was there anything he could do to make things go back to the way they were? Sasuke would do anything to make that happen. After the water began to turn cold, Naruto finally stood, washed his body off, and then stepped out of the shower. He wrapped a towel around his body, then walked out into the bedroom. One of the maids or someone had laid out some clothes for Naruto to put on. He hoped it wasn't Sasuke. It was a pair of loose, baggy black sweatpants with a blue shirt and a pair of clean boxers. Naruto quietly dressed himself, putting his dirty blood-stained clothes in the corner, then walked over and sat on the bed. He pulled his knees up to his chest and wrapped his arms around them securely. A lot happened today and Naruto found himself overwhelmed to say the least. How was he supposed to go to school tomorrow? He was raped after all, but rape wasn't that big of a deal when it happened to guys. In fact, it never made the late-night news even, and it wasn't like anyone would believe him if he tried to tell the teachers or the police. Society sucked. Naruto knew he couldn't stay here with Sasuke forever. If he had it his way he wouldn't have even come back to this place, but Sasuke did have a point. He had nowhere else to go. There was a knock at the door, and Naruto tensed. Naruto, it's me, Itachi. May I come in? Itachi asked from the door. Itachi waited a minute before opening the door and walking in. He smiled, then sat down at the edge of the bed, not missing Naruto wincing. Might I ask what happened? Naruto looked down, then feigned a grin. It's nothing really. We just got into a little fight. Itachi furrowed his brows. The blonde was an awful liar. Naruto, he spoke in an almost authoritative tone. Naruto looked back at Itachi, then bit his lip, deciding that denying it wouldn't get him anywhere when dealing with Itachi. What am I supposed to do? No one wants me alive, and Sasuke he just wasn't what I thought he was. What do you mean? Who doesn't want you alive? Itachi asked worriedly. Naruto hugged his knees tighter. Ever since middle school I've always been picked on. It only got worse when I entered high school. I think it's because I'm an orphan, but I'm not really sure. I didn't really care about what they said or did to me, because it was always easier to just forget it. Then Sasuke came in. With him I felt like it wasn't okay for them to treat me like that. He made me feel like I was worth something. Turns out I was just part of his sick joke. Naruto laughed bitterly. I really am worthless. It was stupid of me to think otherwise. Itachi grabbed Naruto and pulled him into his chest and hugged him tightly. Naruto, please stop talking like that. He pulled away. You're really special, Naruto, in your own way. Since you came here, Dad seems to have lightened up, and we never thought that could happen. You have this ability to lighten up everything just with that innocent smile of yours, and I'm sure quite a few people rely on it. As for Sasuke, I'm not really sure what happened between you guys, but I can definitely tell a difference in him since you two started hanging out, and I'm very thankful to you for that. What I'm trying to say is, don't change yourself. You're perfect the way you are, and if they can't see it, then that's their fault. Naruto stared at Itachi in shock, trying to comprehend what he just heard. Was he really that important? Could he believe that? Itachi smiled, then ruffled Naruto's hair. Well, anyways, get some rest. We can talk more tomorrow. He stood then walked out of the room. Sasuke, what did you do to that poor boy? Itachi thought, sighing. Naruto finally blinked and fell back on the bed, looking up at the ceiling. This was all too much to take in at once. Maybe some sleep would help. Naruto's eyes began to lower until finally he fell into a deep slumber. Morning. Naruto awoke to hear knocking again. He slowly sat up, staring over at the door. Who is it? He asked shakily. Dobi, it's me. Let's go to school, Sasuke said from outside the door. Naruto stood and walked over to the door. He jerked it open, putting on his best glare, then ripped the clothes away from him, then slammed the door. Sasuke sighed. I'll be waiting downstairs, okay? He said, then walked away. Did he really expect Naruto to forgive him so quickly? Well, he kind of did. Naruto dressed, dreading the fact that he was wearing Sasuke's clothes and that he wanted to walk Naruto to school. He sighed, then put on his shoes and walked down the stairs. Not sparing Sasuke a glance, he opened the door and walked right out. Hey, wait, Sasuke called after Naruto. He caught up and walked next to him. Isn't it bad for your image to be seen with me? Naruto asked, annoyed. I don't care about that anymore, Sasuke said, looking over at Naruto. Naruto glared over at him, then scoffed and looked away. Whatever. Sasuke watched Naruto frowning. He really had no idea how to make things better. Maybe kicking Neji's ass in front of Naruto would help. Sasuke cringed at the thought, remembering his last encounter with Neji. No way in hell was he going near him again. He was pulled from his thoughts when he heard Naruto gasp. What is? Sasuke began but stopped when he saw what Naruto was looking at. There was a boy Sasuke had never seen before, who had red hair and blue eyes like Naruto, but not as pretty, of course. To Sasuke's standards, no one was as attractive as Naruto. The boy looked over at the two, then a small smile graced his lips. Gaara, Naruto exclaimed happily. He then ran over to the boy and hugged him. Sasuke's eye twitched. He didn't like this, not one bit. Naruto, it's been forever since I saw you last. Gaara greeted while embracing the boy. He pulled away and concern flashed on his face. You look pale, is everything okay? He asked. Naruto pulled away and looked down to the ground. Truthfully, everything wasn't okay. He was in so much pain and it was really hard not showing it. He felt like his heart had been ripped out of his chest and he was left lying there to die, and the one person he had expected to be there for him was the single cause of it all, but there was no way he was going to tell Gaara about any of it. He instead smiled brightly. Yeah, I'm fine, really. Gaara arched his eyebrow. Yes, he has eyebrows. It doesn't have anything to do with that guy over there, does it? He asked, pointing over at Sasuke, who had been staring at the two. Naruto looked back at Sasuke and glared. Don't mind him. He's just someone I used to know who needs to get lost. He shouted loudly so Sasuke could hear. Sasuke flinched, then walked away, deciding to leave before the blonde got too angry, but that didn't mean he was just going to let the two be completely alone. He was still going to watch, damn it. He walked into school and over to a window that gave him a good view of Naruto and his friend. Who the hell was this kid and why was he acting all buddy-buddy with Naruto? This guy was getting in the way of him and Naruto's relationship, or lack thereof. Sasuke was working on it, or planned on working on it. Sasuke, hi there. Sai greeted from behind Sasuke. Sasuke's eye twitched. He slowly turned, What the hell do you want? He asked angrily. Sai smiled that fake smile he had become famous for. Oh, nothing. I was just wondering where Naruto-kun was. And why would you want to know that? Sasuke asked anxiously. Wasn't this guy best friends with Neji? Because it seems I have fallen for Naruto-kun and he needs to know of my plan on pursuing him. Oh, I mean that you ally, of course. Sai said, then smiled. You wanna die? Sasuke threatened. Listen up, you albino freak, Naruto is mine. Stay the hell away. Why don't you go play with that friend of yours, Neji? Neji and I are not friends anymore. I couldn't stand how he treated Naruto-kun. I am ashamed of myself for participating with his childish acts. Sai then looked out the window. Oh, it seems someone has beat me to it. Before Sasuke could even say anything back to Sai, his curiosity got the best of him and he turned to see what Sai was talking about. Gaara had his arm wrapped around Naruto and there was a pretty noticeable blush on Naruto's cheeks. Oh, this was not okay at all. Why was everyone after what was so rightfully his? The bell rang, which caused Naruto to jump away from Gaara. They exchanged a few more words before Naruto waved goodbye and ran into the building. Sasuke moved quickly but not without an unwanted follower. Naruto stopped in front of Sasuke and scowled. Dobi, who was that? Sasuke asked. None of your business. Naruto answered sourly, then noticed Sai behind him. I see you're still hanging out with them. Sasuke looked back at Sai. Go away. He then turned back. Naruto, I would never hang out with them. I don't know why he's following me, I swear. Sasuke pleaded. Sai stepped out from behind Sasuke and walked up to Naruto and gently grasped his hand. Forgive me, Naruto-kun. I came to apologize. It was wrong of me to do such things to you. Naruto pulled his hand away and Sasuke pulled Sai away so he wasn't so close. Look, I don't care, okay? Can't you all just leave me alone? Naruto said before brushing past them and walking away. This would have been better if you weren't here. Sasuke said angrily to Sai. Sai smiled. Don't be jealous now, Sasuke. Everyone should have a fair chance at Naruto-kun. Sasuke gripped the front of Sai's shirt. You're lucky we're in school, cause if not I'd wipe that fake ass smile right off your face and shove my hand so far up your ass you won't be able to think about pursuing anyone ever again. Sasuke threatened, leave him alone. He let go, then turned and followed after him. This was not going as Sasuke had planned it. The blonde was supposed to be in Sasuke's arms right now, begging for Sasuke to pay attention to him. They walked into homeroom and Sasuke immediately noticed a certain student's absence. Good, that bastard should have known what would have happened if he would have came back to school. Naruto was in his usual seat by the window, not making any contact with anyone whatsoever. Sasuke crossed the room and sat down in the seat right next to Naruto. Oi, Teme. Don't sit next to me like we're friends. Naruto said angrily, not tearing his gaze away from the sky. Sai walked up, still smiling, then sat in the seat behind Naruto. Naruto's eye twitched. Oh, come on. Why the hell can't you people leave me alone? He began losing his patience. Sai stared at Naruto. I want to make your ass mine as soon as possible. He stated bluntly, not even breaking away from that creepy grin of his which just made that little statement even more disturbing. Hell no. Naruto yelled, slamming his fist on his desk and standing up. I agree. If Naruto's ass is property of anyone, it would belong to me. Sasuke said, crossing his arms. That's it. I can't take this. Naruto grabbed his stuff then stormed past the teacher and out of the room. Sasuke glared at Sai. I don't know what you're up to, but you need to back the hell off or you'll have me to deal with. He said before grabbing his books and chasing after Naruto. Sai chuckled. That just makes me want to interfere all the more, Sasuke-kun. Oi, Dobi. Sasuke called out to Naruto, who was a little ahead. Naruto clenched his fists then turned around. Will you leave me alone? Geez, I can't get a break from you at all. You're smothering me, man, I can't breathe, he yelled. Well, if you would quit running away and listen to me, then we could clear all this up. Sasuke said, finally catching his breath. The Dobi was fast. Naruto glared at Sasuke. I don't need to listen to anything you say. He said with hatred, you've already shown me who you really are. He turned and attempted another escape but was grabbed by Sasuke and pinned against the lockers. And what if I said that I didn't care about that stupid bet? And that somewhere along the way I fell for you? Sasuke said, placing his hands on either side of Naruto's shoulders. Naruto's cheeks reddened. He swallowed hard then quickly looked away. It's all lies, he mumbled. You have no idea what I've been through because of you. You brought me nothing but pain. Naruto yelled then pushed Sasuke's arms away and ran down the hall, or in his case limped. Sasuke frowned. It was the truth, he had caused the blonde a lot of pain and he wasn't proud of it. He wanted nothing more than to grab the boy and hold him until all his troubles disappeared. He sighed then clenched his fists. You might as well come out now or I am gonna have to hit you. Sai stepped out from behind the wall smiling. Naruto-kun didn't seem too happy with you. And what of that conversation we just had tipped you off? Sasuke asked sarcastically. You know, the quickest way into someone's heart is putting them in a situation where they cannot say no, or so I've read. Sai said holding out a book. Sasuke arched an eyebrow and looked at the book. It seemed legit enough, so why the hell not? He was desperate. Why do you read those books? He asked suspiciously. Sai blinked then smiled. It seems that no matter what I do I can't seem to find a lover, so I decided to try these books I bought on the internet. I have learned a lot from this one, it is really informational. Sasuke placed his hand on Sai's shoulder. Enjoy your virginity, Sai. Make friends with it, he said then turned and chased after Naruto. Naruto had managed to find the bathrooms and lock himself in the handicap stall. He fell down to the floor, holding his legs close to his chest and panting. Why can't they leave me alone? He tensed when he heard someone walk in. He shakily stood up and moved to the crack in the door to look out but saw nothing. He pulled back and sighed in relief. Down here, Sasuke said from below Naruto. Naruto looked down and surely enough Sasuke was lying down on the bathroom floor and was halfway in Naruto's stall. What the hell? Naruto yelled as he stumbled back. Sasuke climbed through then stood. Please just hear me out, Naruto. He stopped when he noticed Naruto's flushed cheeks and his glazed-over expression. Are you okay? He asked approaching. Naruto gasped and moved back until he hit the wall. Stay away. Naruto averted his gaze as Sasuke stopped right in front of him. Sasuke leaned forward and pressed their foreheads together, feeling Naruto's temperature. He pulled back, his eyes wide. Ah hell Naruto, you have a fever. He picked Naruto up in his arms like a princess and kicked down the door and ran out. Naruto blushed and thrashed around. Put me down, asshole. I am not an effing girl, he shouted as people stared at them. Sasuke hastily got to the nurse's office and burst into the room. Someone help, he yelled. He looked around at the empty room then got to the nurse's desk and saw the note that said, at lunch. Be back soon. Naruto face palmed. I am not gonna die, calm the hell down. He jumped down from Sasuke's arms and walked over to a bed and fell down on it. There, ya happy? I'll lay here until I feel better. Sasuke blinked then smirked as he walked over. You can't expect me to leave you all alone here. You're sick, Naruto. What if something happened? He leaned over the bed, their faces inches apart. Naruto placed his hands on Sasuke's face trying to push him away. Stay the hell away. He yelled. How do you expect me to relax with you here? And why does me being here make you unable to relax? Sasuke asked teasingly. Because my heart always beats like crazy when you're… Naruto gasped and clamped his hands over his mouth, his face turning even redder. Sasuke blinked then chuckled as a small blush appeared on his cheeks. He pulled back and placed his hand on Naruto's head and ruffled his hair. Get some rest, Dobi. After what you've been though you need it. He smiled then turned and exited the room regrettably. He closed the door quietly then leaned against the wall and sighed. If you say things like that, I'll want to take advantage of you. He laughed softly. Naruto stared after Sasuke. Teme. He mumbled under his breath then fell back on the bed and covered his eyes with his arms. He really is a Teme. He whispered as the drowsiness overcame him and he fell into a deep slumber. Naruto looked around the room suspiciously before slowly opening the door. He had taken a well-needed nap and was full of energy, but he was still in pain, down there. After sliding the door open he peeked out, making sure no one was there, stepped out, and sighed in relief. Naruto-kun, Hinata said smiling from behind him. Naruto jumped and nearly fell but caught himself. Hinata. He exclaimed, how did you… He slumped down. You know what, never mind. He smiled happily. What's up? He asked. Hinata frowned then looked away. I heard about the bet. I'm sorry Naruto-kun, she said feeling sad for her friend. And I heard you were in the nurse's office, so I… Don't worry Hina-chan. Naruto smiled brightly. placing his hands on her shoulders. I don't blame you or anything, so don't sweat it. I know you don't talk to Neji even though you guys are cousins, so there's no way you could have known. Thank you Naruto-kun. Hinata smiled back at him then blushed. So have you been okay? I know you really liked Sasuke-kun. Naruto's cheeks reddened and he quickly covered Hinata's mouth. What makes you say that? He defended. There is no way in hell I liked that bastard. He stepped away then rubbed the back of his head sheepishly. But, I'm fine Hina-chan, really. Hinata was about to interject, sensing something was off when they both heard a flamboyant voice calling out. Cutie. Deidara yelled happily, as he ran up and glomped Naruto. Sasuke quickly covered Naruto's eyes and glared at Neji, sending him a mental warning. He didn't care if he would get arrested, if he could beat the shit out of Neji he would. Neji and the two guards turned the corner and walked into the principal's office. Sasuke sighed then looked back at Naruto. It's okay, he's gone. Sasuke said softly, I'm gonna move my hand now. He waited another second before he slowly brought his hand down. The fear was gone from Naruto's face but he was still tense. He laughed but his voice sounded weak. Sorry Teme. I'm fine now. Sasuke stared at him, unconvinced. I'm going to avenge you. Naruto looked up. No one hurts you like that and gets away with it. Sasuke said as his expression suddenly turned dangerous. Naruto's eyes widened, taking in Sasuke's expression. It was the first time he had ever seen Sasuke so angry. Easy there Teme. It's just me, you don't have to get so angry. Naruto said nervously. That seemed to snap Sasuke out of it as he turned and backed Naruto against the wall and placed his hands at either side of Naruto's shoulders. You idiot, it's because it's you that I'm so angry. He raised his hand to Naruto's cheek and caressed it. I don't know how long it will take but I will do whatever it takes to prove to you that I'm serious. Naruto blushed. He could hear his heart pounding in his chest. Damn it. I can't let myself get caught up in this again, never again, he thought, tearing his gaze away from Sasuke. Naya, Sasuke-kun, Sakura called out from down the hall. Sasuke groaned in annoyance. Just great. He mumbled angrily. Naruto took the opportunity to escape, thanking for once the existence of fangirls. He slipped out of Sasuke's grasp and fled down the hall in the opposite direction. Naru, Sasuke began but was glomped from behind by Sakura. Don't worry Sasuke-kun, you don't need to thank me. She smiled brightly. Sasuke's eye twitched. For what? Chasing that freak away of course. Sakura giggled. Geez Sasuke-kun, don't act all innocent. You can't stand him, remember? I may have been like that before but not anymore. Sasuke pried Sakura's arms off him and moved away. Sakura gasped, finding Sasuke's behavior off. Even though he always acted like this towards her, she just ignored it. Sak-kun. What are you saying? She stuttered in disbelief. Sasuke looked back at Sakura. I like that idiot, got it. Oh, and you're really annoying, please don't touch me anymore, he said casually before walking after Naruto. Uke-kun? Sakura bit her lip then stomped her foot down. Arg. I will not lose to that freak. She screamed out then punched a locker as hard as she could. She pulled her fist back then took a deep breath and looked over at Neji when he walked out of the principal's office. She smirked deviously. Sasuke stared at the floor as he walked down the hall. He had no idea who he was turning into anymore. A few weeks ago, he probably could have agreed with Sakura about Naruto and probably would have joined in teasing him, but now, things were different. He had never felt like this, so he couldn't be sure, but Sasuke felt like Naruto was someone who really did understand him. He couldn't explain it, there was just a bond there that no one could break. Now that he had come to get to know the idiot, he was addicted. Naruto made him feel things he never felt before, as cliché and girly as that sounds. Sasuke stopped and clenched his fists. If only he had never made that stupid bet. If only he would have just sucked it up and talked to Naruto. Now Naruto has closed his heart to him and probably everyone else. Sasuke looked up and smirked. There was no time for regretting the past now. He had a dobe to find. Damn it, he was going to convince the idiot to give him another chance, and he knew just how to do it. Time for a little bet. Naruto stomped down the hallway awkwardly. How could he let Sasuke mess with him again? A better question would be, why was Sasuke messing with him? Naruto just couldn't figure it out. The bet was over, so what more could Sasuke want? He gasped. Unless he wants to humiliate me even more. he exclaimed in his head, then crossed his arms. Well, I'm not falling for it again. He stopped completely and looked down at the floor, frowning. He's not worth all this, he's not. Naruto tried thinking to himself, but for some reason the words didn't sound right to him. He looked over at a poster that was being taped on the wall. A dance? He asked curiously. It's a ball, Sasuke said from behind Naruto, shoving his hands in his pockets. Naruto jumped slightly, then moved away. What do you want? Sasuke smirked. Well, actually, since we're on the topic of that ball, he paused. Will you go with me? He asked. All around him, the girls gasped who were in earshot, including Naruto. What did you just say? Naruto exclaimed, looking around to see if anyone would confirm for him, but they were all glaring. Sasuke just stared at Naruto with his usual blank expression. You heard me, Dobi. Naruto's eyes widened, then slowly looked lowered. Don't screw with me, Teme. Go ask Sakura or someone else. He said, then began to walk past Sasuke. Sasuke reached out and grabbed Naruto's wrist. I don't want to ask anyone else. It has to be you. Naruto blushed and stood there for a moment, trying to make sense of the world. He finally jerked away. Just leave me alone, he exclaimed. You got what you wanted, so why are you still messing with me? He jerked his wrist away, then ran down the hall as fast as he could. I got what I wanted? Sasuke thought, confused. He frowned after Naruto, then sighed and walked the other way. He wasn't about to give up. Sakura, who saw the whole thing, tightened her fist, then punched the locker violently. How dare that loser! She exclaimed, Sasuke is mine. Mine, she yelled angrily. After totally destroying the lockers, she took a deep breath, then grinned evilly. That little stunt just now makes my little plan in motion. She turned and began walking towards the detention hallway. Naruto ran to the bathrooms on the other side of the school and slumped against the wall, panting heavily. He winced when his bottom hit the floor. It was still sore. He wrapped his arms around his legs tightly and let his head fall between them. Why does it hurt so much? He thought. Why'd I still care for him? He kept asking himself but couldn't come up with an answer. He shut his eyes tightly as tears began to well up. Because you like him, Sai said, kneeling in front of Naruto. Naruto slowly looked up at Sai. What? Forgive me for putting my opinion in, but you were thinking just now, why do you even care for him, am I right? Sai asked. Naruto nodded. How did you know? He asked, sniffling a little. Sai held out a book titled, Understanding People's Emotions. Even though Sasuke did what he did, you still care for him, and you know why? Naruto shook his head. No. Because you're in love with him. Sai stated like it was not a big deal. Naruto gasped and jumped up. Sai shook his head. I can't speak for him, but I believe Sasuke likes you too, Naruto-kun. Naruto immediately became down. That's not true. He's only been using me for his entertainment. He slumped back down to the floor. He couldn't go through with the bet. You know why? Sai said, sitting down in front of Naruto. Naruto shook his head. Because I believe that Sasuke has fallen in love with you too, Naruto-kun. He just doesn't know how to properly show it. Sai informed. Why are you telling me all this? Naruto asked. Sai smiled. Because I've done a lot of bad things to you and I want to make it up to you. He stood straight. You're the first person Sasuke has ever chased after. Sai turned, then walked out, leaving a flushed Naruto. Naruto looked down at the floor in deep thought. He likes me? He questioned aloud, still unable to believe it. He didn't want to believe it. He didn't want to allow himself to be vulnerable again. He stood, then walked out, still in deep thought, when he bumped into something hard. He rubbed his nose. Sorry, he gasped when he saw who it was. Neji. And right behind him was Sakura, smirking. Naruto quickly turned to run, but Neji grabbed him. Don't be like that, I just want to talk. He said, grinning. He dragged Naruto down the hall, covering his mouth so no one would hear him yell. Hinata gasped as she peeked around the corner. She thought of running after them, but what could she do? She instead turned and quickly ran down the hall. Neji pushed Naruto into an empty classroom, then shut the door after Sakura walked in. Naruto fell to the ground, then quickly tried to crawl away, but Neji jerked him up and shoved him against the wall. Because of you my life's fucked up. I intend to make you pay. Neji sneered. Naruto's eyes widened and he began to panic. Not again, he couldn't do it again. I don't know what you did to Sasuke-kun, but I've had enough. Sakura said, walking up. He's mine. She looked over to Neji. Do whatever you want. I'll make sure you get off clean. she said, then turned away. My pleasure, Neji said, licking his lips. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a knife. Naruto gasped and began to struggle. He can't be serious. He's actually going to, Naruto thought, shutting his eyes tightly when Neji moved his arm holding the knife. There was some noise but nothing happened. After a few more seconds, Naruto slowly opened his eyes. There in front of him was Sasuke, but he looked like he was in pain. Sasuke? Naruto said in barely a whisper. Sasuke winced then smirked. Dobi, he said, then fell against Naruto. Naruto wrapped his arms around Sasuke and felt something damp on his back. His eyes widened as he slowly looked at Sasuke's back and saw the handle of the knife. No! Sakura's scream echoed through the classroom. Neji gasped and stumbled back, then quickly turned and ran out of the classroom but was caught by a cop. Hinata and some teachers then came into the classroom and gasped at what they saw. What followed after seemed like hell for Naruto. Sasuke was rushed to the hospital and Naruto was left staring at his blood-stained hands, the realization finally setting in. He loved Sasuke. To lose him now would be Naruto-kun? Hinata stuttered as she sat next to Naruto in the waiting room. He's going to be fine, don't worry. Naruto ran his hands through his hair and looked down. No, he won't. As long as I'm here he's going to have to go through more and more crap. It's not fair to him. Even if. His eyes began to water and he covered his face in his hands. Even if I love him, he cried. Hinata frowned and put her arm around him. Naruto-kun. At that moment Sasuke's family and Deidara burst through the doors and ran up to Naruto and Hinata. Where's Sasuke? Fugaku exclaimed. Hinata stood in Naruto's place. He's still in the We haven't heard anything yet, she said. Fugaku sighed then collapsed in a chair. Geez, that idiot son of mine. He cursed. Itachi looked over at Naruto then to Deidara and frowned. A nurse came out and walked over to them smiling. Good news. It wasn't that bad of a wound. We stitched it up, he'll just feel a little dizzy from the blood loss, but other than that he's going to be just fine. Naruto gasped and looked up. He was so thankful Sasuke was going to be okay. In fact, it helped him make the final decision. He stood and walked over to Fugaku and bowed. Thank you for everything until now. Cutie. Deidara frowned. Naruto-kun? Hinata said, frowning. Naruto leaned back up and smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. I'll see you guys soon. He lied then turned and walked out of the waiting room as fast as he could. Itachi stood quickly then ran over to the nurse. Let me see my brother. Now, he exclaimed. Fugaku stood. What's wrong, son? He asked, confused. The nurse frowned. I'm not sure that's. Itachi brushed past her with Deidara following and ran down the hall looking into all the rooms until he finally found Sasuke's. A nurse was in the process of helping him up. Sasuke. Itachi exclaimed in a tone he had never used before. Sasuke looked over and sighed. I'm fine, Itachi, really. I'd wish everyone would quit worrying. He looked around Itachi, specifically for a blonde mop of hair. Where's Naruto? He asked. Itachi looked away then back to Sasuke. He's leaving. Sasuke's eyes widened, as he seemed to get what Itachi was hinting at. He gripped his bedsheet tightly. That idiot. He thinks that it's because of him that you're like this. Hinata said, walking up behind Itachi. He says that if he's gone, everything will be fine for you. Sasuke looked over at them. But why would that idiot think something like that? People do stupid things when they're in love, stupid little brother. You should know all about that. Itachi said, smiling. Sasuke's eyes widened. He looked down then slowly began to move out of bed. Sasuke-kun. Hinata began but Itachi stopped him. No. He needs to find Naruto and tell him what Naruto really needs to hear. Isn't that right, Sasuke? He smirked. Sasuke maneuvered out of bed then stood straight and smirked the famous Uchiha smirk, full of confidence. If you'll excuse me, I have a dobi to find. Go get cutie. Deidara exclaimed, we'll take care of everything here. He winked. Itachi stepped out of the way with Hinata and Deidara as Sasuke walked by, ignoring the nurses trying to get him back in bed. Insert love song by Taylor Swift playing in the background. Lols. Sasuke gradually began to pick up speed as he raced through the hall. When he reached the waiting room he was in a full-on sprint. He burst through the exit and ran down the sidewalk, following his gut. Naruto was walking along a river that was a little ways away from the hospital. He walked up to the edge and knelt down, looking at his reflection. I wish I could have told him how I felt. instead of always pushing him away. His eyes began to water. Now I'll never have the chance to tell him. I love you. Naruto gasped and quickly looked back to see Sasuke. He stood and wiped his eyes. Sasuke? He questioned. What are you doing here? You're supposed to be in the hospital, he exclaimed. Well, I would if I had a cute doby in my room to keep me company. He smirked, then strode up to Naruto. Where were you going? Naruto frowned and looked away. It's because of me that you're like this. If I stay by your side, it'll just keep happening. I'm prepared for that. Sasuke spoke calmly. He reached forward and caressed Naruto's cheek, causing the blonde to flinch. I never meant to hurt you. I'm sorry for that. But in a weird way I'm glad all of this has happened. It's helped me realize a lot of things. Naruto blushed and looked up at him. Like what? Sasuke smirked. I love you, you big idiot. Hey, I'm not an idiot. Naruto exclaimed. Yeah you are, but you're my idiot. Sasuke leaned forward and kissed Naruto on his lips, then pulled away. Naruto's face turned bright red as Sasuke stared at him expectantly. What? He asked. Sasuke sighed. God, you're so stupid. He joked. What about you? What are your feelings? I'm not stupid. Naruto shouted, puffing his cheeks out. And I love you, okay? Got a problem with it? Sasuke pulled Naruto into his chest, hugging him tightly. You're so stupidly cute. I love your stupidity. I love how you get mad and I can't even take you serious because you look so cute. Naruto's face turned blood red and he gripped onto Sasuke's shirt. Stop. They both pulled back and looked into each other's eyes, then slowly leaned in and kissed each other passionately. Woo, go cutie, Deidara exclaimed, jumping up and down from on top of the hill. Sasuke and Naruto both turned to see Sasuke's family, Hinata, and Deidara looking over at them. Naruto smiled while Sasuke sighed, blushing. Naruto looked over at Sasuke, smiling brightly. Let's go. Sasuke nodded, then took Naruto's hand. I'll never let you go again.
That's all for now. If you enjoyed this video, then please like, share and do comments.